What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey True, aka the Queen of Paperwork. And y'all, while we were on recess, I came up with a whole new structure of my channel, okay? And we're going to talk about it. But before we get into all that, this is a new live, so y'all already know how we got to keep this thing off. Yo, Hookah, what it do?
It's Hookah Anonymous, and you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame. So make sure y'all subscribe to her channel and stay updated on what's real. Bye.
Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world.
Good reporting ass Mickey.
We love you, Mickey.
Yes, y'all, we are back. We have been on recess for the past couple hours, and we're just sitting around waiting for it to start back. Now, couple things. So, y'all, I've been thinking the past couple days, and this is just side note while we're waiting for it to begin. I've been thinking for the past couple days, because a lot of times people ask, Mickey Truth, what exactly do you do on YouTube, right? And I say a lot of things, I say, I definitely dig into paperwork, I research, I do all types of stuff like that. I interview, but then I'm like, well, maybe I need to kind of condense it to give it a feel, right? Of those who really don't know what type of content I do. So I've decided, I kind of hinted at it in the beginning when I used to do Truth Team Public Opinion, right? Where it was a makeshift court. But dealing with the YNW Melly trial makes me realize I actually like to play court, right? I really do. And if you think about what it is my strengths are, including being able to get the paperwork, being able to break it down into a timeline, being able to research, kind of goes hand in hand. So I am realigning my page to be Truth Team Court of Internet Opinion. Okay, so I'm going to be pushing that with the whole flow of my channel. That's what I'm going to be doing. Moving forward, every case is going to be styled in that order. What y'all think about it? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to pull up. We are currently on the YNW Melly trial. As y'all know, now I know it's been a little confusion, right, online, especially in Instagram, where some people are saying that I lost train of thought just now. Some people are saying the mistrial was not denied. Now, everybody was on live with me earlier. I definitely got the confirmation from what was said that the mistrial was denied. But nevertheless, we'll get it confirmed once it starts back up. Now, if the juror will be available at this time, we don't know yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen in because they're breaking down the actual testimony of Felicia Holmes. Remember, that was our topic at the time earlier, in regards to what does this mean for her testimony. Let's listen in.
So I want to go back to October 26th, 2018. Where were you living?
I was living in Cocoa.
And my geography is terrible, I think. How far away is Cocoa from Broward County?
3-4 hours.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a registered nurse.
Were you a registered nurse at that time as well?
Yes, I was.
Did you know the defendant's mother?
Yes, I did.
And who is she?
Jenny.
Have you met her prior to October 26th of 2018?
Yes, I did.
Have you communicated with her?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a phone number for her?
I'm pretty sure I probably did.
I'm not asking you to.
I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember.
Okay. So I want to go forward on October 26th of 2018 and talk about that early morning hours. Did you receive or hear a phone call or a FaceTime video call in which the defendant was present?
I did overhear. I'm not sure exactly the context of the call, but I did overhear the phone call.
Tell ladies and gentlemen of the jury what woke you up that morning.
Just hear my daughter's voice.
Okay, what was what was the tone of her voice without saying what she said?
I don't remember this. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember anything the defendant said on that video?
Not really, but I don't.
Did you have an opportunity to read the statement you gave in 2018?
I read the statement.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything from that statement, but I remember my deposition from December 22.
So your deposition, that would have been 6 months ago?
Yes.
Okay. I want to go and when you spoke, remember speaking with law enforcement in December of 2018?
I remember speaking with them, but I don't remember what they looked like. I don't remember their names, but I do remember talking to some.
Okay, so Ms. Holmes, I'm going to ask you, were you honest and truthful with law enforcement when you spoke with them?
I would hope so. I mean, it was 2018. I went through a lot in that year, so I'm not sure where my mindset was at that time.
Did you lie to law enforcement?
I would hope not. But I don't remember my I said that. It was like 5 years.
Oh, of course. I understand. It's been a long time. So in terms of the time frame, that was closer in time to the incident, October 26th of 2018?
If that's where you guys are seeing it.
You don't even remember?
I don't remember, because 2018 was a very hard year for me. My husband just went to prison, my father died, I got locked up, so I was really happy.
Okay. And in terms of your conversations with the police officers that morning?
Yes. I do remember that they kind of bullied me and threatened my daughter. I take her to jail for accessory after that. I do remember that.
Yes. And in terms of the statements that you made about what happened, you don't have any recollection of that. Did you read this statement multiple times?
I looked at it and I just didn't recall it, and
And so you indicated you hoped you were truthful with law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I have to ask you to be more definitive. Were you truthful?
I don't remember what I said to them that day, so if I was to tell you something now, I could be lying. I don't want to understand because you won't take it to jail. So I'm saying what you want to say.
I don't want you to say anything, I want you to tell the truth.
Okay.
So Ms. Holmes, with regards to that day, did you lie to law enforcement?
I just
asked them to excuse me.
Ms. Holmes, did you ever say?
Oh, I ain't meant to pause it. I meant to just mute it. Yo, all right. For those who's on the live, let me refresh that. For those who's on the live last night, and remember we went over the potential witnesses that could possibly be not the best to the defense. Well, let's just say a new submission is on record. And I'm not going to show it because it has, again, it's public, but I'm not going to show it under the circumstances that it has a new address on it. So I'm not going to do it. But if you look here, 6/20/2023 file states supplemental discovery. It now includes Travion Glass. Remember that is the passenger, right? In the red Mitsubishi. They have now put him again as a Class A witness. What does that mean? I don't know. But when we were going over it last night, we all agree whatever information that he is offering or may be offering could be more in the line of of the prosecution and not defense. Let me see what Print says. Print says, write that down. That important. They wanted to charge the daughter with accessory after the fact. So what evidence then they have on their daughter to warrant that threat? Oh, so another thing I thought about after we got off live earlier. What to do, Jersey? So earlier, remember we kept talking about what we've been talking about for like past week. These witnesses that's going to be like, boom, right? And remember I said, well, the daughter definitely, but she hasn't, appeared. Then it hits me, okay? So let me show y'all why I'm saying it hit me, okay? Which one was it? Ooh, who transcripts is that? Let me see. Okay. So that was the transcripts for Felicia Holmes. So not that. Where is it? Where is it? Shoot. Is it this one? Yes, we are back. Okay. Hold on. I don't want to miss nothing. So hold on. Let me pay attention. I'm trying to go back and forth. So hold on, y'all. Let me pull up my other phone. Dang, Law and Crime is on something. Okay, Law and Crime is going live on multiple cases at one time. All right, so let me get back to what I was doing. Where is it? Is it this one? No, that ain't it. Shoot. Is it this one? Oh, that ain't it. Here we go, right here. So, okay, here go my theory. On May 1st, 2023, right? The defense notice of taking deposition. Y'all see who name is listed? Right here. Mariah Hamilton, right? So remember we had somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody asked if they were able to locate her. And remember from what we know, no, they wasn't able to locate her. But I listened to my live on day one when I brought that fact up that they have her listed as doing a deposition. So my theory is now that that information has came to light, right, that in the beginning, they originally wanted to charge her with accessory after the fact, based off testimony, right? Not testimony, let me use the right word. Statement provided to the police in the beginning in 2018. Remember that, hold on.
My understanding is she will be joining us. Everything was just, I guess, issue of dehydration or something along those lines, but I'm told she will be here. Can you hear me all right? All right. One thing though I need to bring to your attention is when we broke this morning, one of our jurors, as Gary was escorting the jurors out, he was approached and one of the jurors had asked him a question. Gary, go ahead, you want to tell us exactly what was said?
She more or less asked me if she could ask me a question. I said, well, it depends. So the question was, she said, well, what's the status of the mistrial?
So now, I don't know what you want me to do about that, but that's the question that was posed.
Judge, we need to have her name on the record and find out how she would have any knowledge of that, because that was never stated with them.
I think it was. I think there was it was done on the record by Mr. Howard the other day. Is Mr. Howard here? No?
No, he's not.
Oh, I apologize. I thought we were all here.
He's coming right now, Joe.
Mr. Howard, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem with it. I heard it all inside the media room. So, no apology necessary. Thank you. Apologize for not being present, sir.
No, it's my fault. I thought Gary walked in, but what he was advising me and I to the attorneys was that there was a comment by one of the jurors. Did you hear that?
Yes.
So I don't know exactly what you wanted to do. Who the juror was?
That was Miss Manuel.
Miss Manuel. So
I just go home.
one of the things that is, in my recollection, and I could be wrong, is different than yours, Ms. Bradley. My recollection is that there was a motion for mistrial that was made out loud, and Mr. Howard came sidebar. But the jurors been instructed not to read anything about the case. So I don't know if there's something in the newspaper about that. That's a different story, but I don't know what you want me to do, if anything. I bring it to your attention, any real interaction that Gary has with them, something that may seem inappropriate, we always bring it up and let you know.
And should I assume that for future reference, you'd rather I make those motions outside the presence of?
Just come sign.
Okay.
But that was my recollection. I thought you, at one point, I don't know which, there was two motions for mistrial. I don't know at which point, but I believe at least one point you stood up and said, I have a motion for mistrial.
No, actually, there was a question asked. I said objection, move for mistrial, and
No,
you called the
before.
sidebar and asked me to hold it until the end. And then at the end, after the jury left, Mr. Allison and I articulated motions for mistrial on an independent basis. And that's how it trended. That's how it went down.
But it was announced in open court, correct?
I said objection, move for mistrial. You called
That's
the
my
sidebar.
recollection.
I remember coming sidebar and there being that being said in sidebar. I don't recall it being said in open court.
I thought it was said in open court.
It's a fact that I said it.
So again, I don't know what you want me to do, if anything, and, the jurors, is that juror here, by the way?
She's in the reception area.
So, anyway, I'll leave it to your discretion. It was announced in open court, there was a motion for mistrial. Gary obviously didn't answer the question. And, what did you respond, Gary?
I told her I didn't know anything about that. And then she asked me, weren't you there? I said, I don't remember that.
Anyway, that's where we're at. So, if you think it over, let me know if there's any inquiry you want me to make. Madam?
Yeah, I think you need to, the state's position would be that she needs to be brought in. Your Honor needs to inquire if she's said anything in the media or any coverage of that, because that was discussed online, is my understanding.
What do you think, counsel?
Well, to the extent that the court's inquiry of this jury is because of the state's faulty recollection that I didn't say move for mistrial in front of the jury, I know that not to be the case. I did say objection, move for mistrial. You then called a sidebar, and the only thing you said was, please reserve that to later.
That's my recollection.
Yeah, that's why.
Again, is that what you're concerned about, or is it concerned about just because it was said that you think I ought to inquire?
Your Honor, I think that that defense is thorough. If we go forward and they're going to waive any inquiry of this witness, if she's been looking at any other items or anything online, the defense brought to Your Honor's attention earlier. Because if they thought was laboring under the impression that there was some sort of cessation of trial and then started looking at media and news reports because they thought their jury service was over, that would be a problem.
Better to have more information than less, so we have no objection to that being the procedure that we deploy.
So you want me to bring her in, indicate to her that I was advised by our bailiff, Gary, that you asked him a motion for mistrial and what had happened, and just ask her, how is it that you're concerned about that, or where did you hear about it, and just find out what information she's got and about it and where she heard it from. Is that the end of the inquiry?
I would ask that you inquire from her if she conveyed any of that to any of the other jurors.
Anything else?
Unless the court wants to say, unfortunately, I did not.
So we're going to ask what she heard, where she learned it from.
If she did any outside research afterwards.
And if she inquired or asked any of the other jurors concerning the topic.
Anything else that you want me to ask, counsel?
No.
Ben, anything else?
Nothing, sir.
All right. Do me a favor.
You went together.
I don't like it.
Just for Gary. Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Manuel's coming in, counsel. Ms. Manuel's going to come in now.
Okay. Thank you.
Juror Zachary.
Hey, Ms. Manuel, thanks for coming back in. Let the record reflect the approach of the defendant, his counsel, the assistant state attorneys, as well as one of our jurors, Ms. Manuel. Counsel, please be seated. Ms. Manuel, please be seated. Ms. Manuel, what I brought in is my bailiff indicated to me that when you weren't able to start this morning, that he was escorting the jurors out, and you approached him and asked him about what happened with the mistrial or something to this effect. Is that right? So that's a yes. All right. So I guess my concern is what you may have heard about this alleged mistrial and where you heard it.
The last day I was here, and the defense attorney said, jumped up and said mistrial.
Okay. So that's where you heard it from?
Yes.
Anything other than that?
No.
Was there any other research that you may have done or looked at newspapers or any kind of article about the motion for mistrial, anything like that?
No.
Anything on the news, any news media
No.
about the mistrial? No. And last but not least, did you speak with any of the other jurors about the motion for mistrial?
No, when Gary came in and asked us before, do we have any issues, any questions? And I didn't want to ask him in front of everybody, so I waited till we got in the hall and put it aside and asked him that. Because he asked me if we have any concerns.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's what we're trying to clear up and find out. Because there's an admonition that I say every time we break, don't discuss the case, don't form any opinion about the
It was
case.
said in here.
That's what we're trying to find out.
Okay.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let the record reflect the juror stepped out. Counsel remain well defended. Anything you wish to do regarding this issue with this manual?
No, sir.
So we otherwise ready to proceed?
Yes.
Juror shows up. Yes.
I think, are they all here?
As far as I know.
Okay, so see if they're all here. If they're all here, we'll start. Yeah, he did say we're short 2 or 3. Great. But they're here now? All right, they're all here now.
that. This part.
You all ready?
Yo.
Okay, Councilman, I'll bring you in, is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do the jury.
All right, so I don't know what happened. Hold on, give me a second. Let me see. I was in a whole nother area. Shoot. Ain't that something? I think my computer died. My bad, y'all. Ain't that something? All right, y'all. So I let my computer die. Have to plug it up. So slight little brief setback. Oh no, it didn't die. Why did it do that? All right, let me refresh it.
Prior to working for T-Mobile, did you work for any other telecommunications companies?
Yes, I did.
And what were those?
AT&T Wireless.
Thank you, Bob Chevy.
5 years.
How long in total have you worked in the telecommunications industry?
31 years.
So you indicated you were part of the manager of the emergency response.
Legal emergency response.
And what does that mean?
That means that we respond to subpoenas and other legal demands from various agencies across the United States.
And when you say a legal demand, what would you mean by that?
Subpoena or court order, search warrant.
In terms of the records when you work with them, how often do you work with them?
Every day.
What do you do with the records?
So we're able to retrieve the information from our secure computer database and then send the response back to the agency that's requesting.
And I know this might sound silly, but what type of company is T-Mobile?
We're a wireless telephone carrier.
And is T-Mobile the parent company of any other wireless carriers?
We did acquire Sprint.
How long has T-Mobile been the parent company for Sprint?
April 1st, 2020 is when we acquired them.
In terms of the information that is kept by T-Mobile, do you keep phone call records?
Yes.
What would you call those?
Call detail records.
Do you keep information regarding the networks?
Yes.
Do you keep information regarding subscribers?
Yes.
What type of information is kept in a call detail record?
So call detail reports will show incoming and outgoing phone calls or text messages made or received by the cellular telephone.
Does T-Mobile keep that information as to when data is used?
Yes.
Will a data phone call or video call show up in call detail records?
No.
Does the information show who is being called?
Yes, it will show the transaction of the outbound or inbound phone call on the call detail records.
Does T-Mobile keep the cell site information for the call that the outgoing non-T-Mobile subscriber?
No.
What's the purpose of collecting this information at T-Mobile?
Billing purposes.
Is there any consideration as to the health and optimization of the network?
So we keep what is known as timing advance records, which is solely for engineering purposes, so that they are able to check up on the network, yes.
When a phone call is made from a cellular device or handset, can you describe from the network perspective what happens?
Sure. So what happens is the phone reaches out to the tower with the strongest signal, which is not necessarily the closest tower. So for example, we can have a tower on top of the building, or we can have one down the street. However, the one down the street might be the stronger signal and would pick up that call. At that point, it's transferred to our switch, and our switch is what records all the information that you will see on the call detail records. At that point, it's then transferred to a landline company, and it's the landline company that actually delivers the call.
So you mentioned true call data. What is that?
So true call data is for the network. It will show where the phone is connected to when it's not in use, as long as it's turned on.
Does Sprint also have a similar type of data?
Yes.
What is per call measurement data?
Correct.
Is that the same for true call, for the Sprint analogy?
Correct, that's Sprint's term.
In terms of subscriber information, what types of subscriber information is kept?
So the subscriber information, we have two types. One would be a prepay, and then the other would be a monthly account.
So the prepay, what type of information could you have?
So prepay, a customer is not required to provide their information, but they could provide a name, address, and date of birth.
On the postpaid or the billed type, what type of information do you have?
So we would have the name, the address, date of birth, social security number, and we actually do a credit check on that individual.
In terms of the individual using the specific phones or handsets, can you testify to that?
No.
How many times have you testified in court before?
Over 1,000 times.
Were you, as the records custodian for T-Mobile, provided legal process, and I'll go through them one by one, under reference tracking number for T-Mobile 214-6318 for two phone numbers of 305-922-9533 and 954-376-9158?
Yes.
As the T-Mobile records custodian under tracking number 219-2645, where you provided records and requests and legal process for three phone numbers, 561-720-3210, 772-713-9807, and 954-376-9158.
Yes.
As the records custodian for T-Mobile under T-Mobile tracking ID 208-1851, where you submitted requests for phone number 954-248-9081.
Yes.
For T-Mobile tracking number 217-2715 for phone number 954-376-9158, where you provided a legal process to obtain the records for that issue.
Yes.
Were you also under tracking number 205-8127 asked to provide for legal process phone number records for 772-713-9807?
Yes.
Was Sprint at the time part of T-Mobile under the phone numbers for 772-713-2341 and 954-371-7895 under Sprint tracking number 2018-221418, provided legal process and requested to provide records?
Yes.
Was Sprint under Sprint case number 2019-15821 asked to provide records with regards to phone number 529-5054.
Yes,
Prior to coming into court today, did you have the opportunity to review the records that were provided?
yes, I did.
Are these records made at or about the time they are created by a person with knowledge?
Yes,
Are they kept in the regular course of business of Sprint and T-Mobile?
yes, they are.
Okay. Is it in the regular practice to keep such records?
Yes,
You're at this time approaching with what's been labeled as states 000 for identification purposes and previously shown to defense. Ms. Johnson, do you recognize this USB?
yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
My initials and today's date are on the USB.
And does those USB fairly and accurately represent the records that were provided by T-Mobile in response to the tracking numbers that we just discussed, as well as to Sprint and the tracking numbers and case numbers they just provided?
Yes,
Here at this time, the state would offer states 000 as states 63.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge. Objection? Relevance?
Sure, why don't you come side over here?
All right, so y'all know this case is full of trial. It's full of sidebars. They are having a sidebar as we speak. Y'all, right now, as y'all know from the past week, we have been going live about this case. The phone records is very important to this case, okay? The expert that's on, and I don't know if they refer to her as an expert, but I said expert because she actually is with the phone company, T-Mobile, meaning she'll be able to answer a lot of the questions that they will have in reference to the phone records. And we know, according to the Arthur hearing, I can't say it right. Arthur hearing for Portland, they said that is a very big part of their case. So let's see what they have to say. Okay, so they're still on the start. It's gonna be a quick sidebar, but it's not. So we'll talk until I hear them come back in. But as I was stating to y'all earlier, they do have that deposition on file as far as the notice of taking the deposition in the beginning of May for the ex-girlfriend. Now, in my mind, I was feeling like possibly the prosecution does have Mariah Hamilton and just has not released that they have her. And that, you know what I'm saying, this is probably going to be a damper to the defense, possibly. Look, Jersey said this is why our patient essence needs to let the case play out. Okay. And y'all know this is normally why I go live after court because I be like, you know me, I'll skip through it. Like, what's next? What's next? But, you know, since we're live, I'm just going to stay live. But, you know, it is like a waiting game. That's why I said I'll take, you know, the play court online. I don't think I can deal with a real court hearing like this because my mind get to jump in the head and I get to only picking and choosing what I want to hear and talk about. So, yeah, shout out to the real lawyers and judges and all that goes through this because your girl could not at all. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up. We are currently in session for Truth Team Court of Internet Opinion. Y'all make sure y'all run the chat up. Here we go.
Thank you. So, objection overruled, it will be admitted. What's the next number?
63.
63 and evidence.
Permission to publish?
You may.
objection.
63.
So I'm going to start with the Sprint records. What are we looking at in this particular file, 2018-221418-6155597?
This would be the subscriber information.
And in terms of looking at this particular one, I'm going to zoom in. What is the billing name for this?
Chris Thomas.
And going to the second one, what is the billing name on this one?
The first name is Dontavius. Last name is Withers, Withers.
At the top of this screen capture, there's a BAN number. Do you know what that means?
Yes,
What is that?
that would be the account number.
Does that correlate with the other data that's been provided?
Yes,
Going to now the same Word document file name. What are we looking at in this Sprint document?
this is also subscriber information.
So you had mentioned that billing account number, that BAN number.
Correct.
If you can touch the screen in front of you, you can write on it and it will show up on the screen for the jurors. So if you could point out where the billing account number is here. Okay. And then what is the phone number that was being used by this account, or the subject number?
772-713-2341.
And is this again for that Chris Thomas billing account?
Yes.
Okay. Scrolling down to the next billing account number. Is this the other account that we just looked at the subscriber information on for Dontavius Withers?
Yes.
And what is the phone number that's associated with this particular account?
954-371-7895.
Going on to 2019-158-210-6566861. For the phone number in question on this particular record, is that labeled right here?
Yes.
And what phone number is that?
225-529-5054.
And looking at the Microsoft Excel viewer, can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what we're looking at here?
These are the call detail records with cell site information for Sprint.
Going over to the T-Mobile records. Just for demonstrative and illustrative purposes, when you are looking, this particular one called Timing Advance LTE and UMTS _TN 772-713-9807. Then it has another underscore IMSI. What is an IMSI?
That stands for International Mobile Subscriber Identity Number, which is the number that's associated with the SIM card found in the back of the phone.
And the first, the 772-713-9807. What is that?
That would be the phone number.
Are all of these records provided by T-Mobile?
Yes.
In terms of completion codes, is that something that is reflected in these records?
Yes.
What is a completed successfully completion code?
So that means that the call went through the network successfully.
What is an abnormal completion?
An abnormal completion means the call did not go through. Perhaps the user hung up prior to the call connecting or a dropped call.
Okay. In terms of what time frame are all of these records kept in?
We keep them in UTC time, which is Coordinated Universal Time. So depending on what time of the year it is, you would have to subtract either 4 or 5 hours from the time that you see reflected in order to arrive at East Coast time.
On October 26th of 2018, how many hours did you have to subtract?
It would be -4.
The cell site locations indicate latitude and longitude of the cell site. Is that now there's also a physical address. Is the physical address always the same as the latitude and longitude?
No.
What could the physical address sometimes show?
So that's what we refer to as an administrative address. So we use that for 911 purposes. To get the exact location of the cell tower, you would take the 2 coordinates, the latitude and longitude, plot it into a mapping program such as Google Earth, and that will give you the exact location.
There's nothing further to say, Ms. Juror?
Counsel, is there any cross-examination?
1 second, John. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
So the technology that you just described for identifying locations, how is that verified by T-Mobile itself?
That you would have to ask an engineer for.
So you don't know how that's done?
How it's verified?
Yeah.
As to what tower connected to? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So it's done with a radio frequency is how the towers work. It's a signal.
Okay, so but you were telling us earlier that the phone does not necessarily connect to the nearest tower.
Correct.
It connects to the tower with the strongest signal.
Correct.
So how is it that you know to approximate, how do you know how far the phone is from the actual tower?
I don't.
Is there no way to tell that?
No. Not through me.
Not through you?
Correct.
And how do you know if the tower that the phone connected to is the closest tower or the one with the stronger signal?
That would not be a question for me. You would have to ask an engineer.
How would you know whether or not a phone defaults to a stronger frequency? If you have a tower with a strong signal and another tower with a not so strong signal, or a signal that's not as strong as the other. You with me so far?
Yes.
How would you know at what point the signal disparity is strong enough for it to default to the one that's further away as opposed to the one that's closer?
Again, that's a question for an engineer, not for me.
So you have no way of helping us understand any of this information that you just described?
Correct.
You just collect it when you're subpoenaed and you provide it.
Correct.
And you're not familiar with the technology at all?
Not the questions that you're asking, correct.
One second.
Sure.
Is it correct that the data location information, the purpose that you worked with Sprint and with T-Mobile at some point?
I'm a T-Mobile employee.
And you were a Sprint employee at some point?
No, sir.
You were somewhere else? No?
AT&T.
AT&T.
Correct.
The purpose that AT&T, and in this case now T-Mobile, collects this data location information is for billing.
Correct.
That's its only purpose.
And network engineers collect to optimize the network.
Okay. It's not used for identifying the locations of customers' phones beyond the purpose of just billing.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Is there any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Johnson, counsel asked you, how do you know how something didn't happen? Is that a fair question?
Objection.
Sustain, rephrase.
With regards to these records, are they accurate?
Objection.
What's the objection?
Lack of foundation, Chief.
Why should sidebar?
And here we go again, another sidebar. So for those who are just joining, make sure you hit that like button, comment, run that chat up, because we are listening in live, courtesy of Law and Crime Network, the YNW Melly trial. Okay, one thing about this trial is a lot of sidebars. So right now we are listening to the testimony of said expert from T-Mobile for the phone records. I don't know, y'all. In my opinion, I'm not really seeing the strength here with this expert witness. Let's see what the chat is saying. What it do, Gates? Welcome back. Keaton. Okay, they are definitely. Jersey on.
Objection was sustained.
We're
Rephrase.
back.
So, Ms. Johnson, with regards to the records, does the T-Mobile keep any record of something that doesn't happen?
No.
What is contained in the records that have been provided?
Calls and text messages that have happened.
Is this from the network's perspective?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. You're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
ma'am. Who is your next witness?
Jonathan Zeller.
Jonathan Zeller, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Are you Jonathan Zeller?
I am, sir.
Welcome. Come on up here, sir. That's our witness stand. When you get there, you put your things down, you raise your right hand, be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your full legal name for the record.
Jonathan Zeller. This is Z-E-L-L-E.
Spell your first name as well, sir.
Jonathan.
Thank you.
And that microphone will just up or down, but not back up. Counsel, if you're ready, you may proceed.
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry. Can we approach the third?
All right. So I didn't catch who this witness is. I will hope this is someone that is an expert in regards to the questions that was asked by the defense. So yeah, I would agree with Jersey on. Hopefully this is definitely an engineer that they're on. Let's see what else. Prince said hopefully she's getting somewhere with these witnesses, okay, or she should be fired for sure. Man, we'll be towed up. Look, after 5 o'clock, I'm down with it. All right, let's see here what y'all saying.
Thank you. Anything else, Councilman?
No, Judge.
Bradley, if you're ready, you may proceed.
Okay. Detective, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Where do you work?
I work with the Miramar Police Department
How long have you worked for the Miramar Police Department?
for 23 years.
What do you do for the Miramar Police Department?
I'm a detective in the homicide unit
And how long have you been in the homicide unit?
since 2009.
Prior to going into the homicide unit, what other hats have you worn for the Miramar Police Department?
Several. One in particular is a forensic, digital forensic examiner.
Okay, what is a digital forensic examiner?
So what I do is we'll stick with the cell phones or cellular phones or devices of that nature. I do the extraction and the analysis for it.
And when you're doing an extraction, can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what types of software or tools you use to do an extraction on a cellular telephone?
So what we use is a software and hardware company called Cellular, and this is specific for conducting extractions of cellular devices.
And approximately how many different trainings have you taken in the use of Cellular systems?
I've taken a few, each of them consisted of 40 hours of class training and exercises, and obviously the exam as well.
What about you taking training with the task team of the FBI?
I have.
Have you taken, you said you also do analysis of the cellular forensics or digital forensics. What do you mean by that?
So depending on what type of case it is, I will actually do the extraction and I'll also do the examination of it, the analysis for it, and go through it and look for items that potentially could be considered evidence.
And in terms of to do the analysis part, what information do you need?
I need to know what the case.
In this case that we're here on today, Miramar Police Department Investigation 18-10-06269, were you the lead detective?
I was not.
What was your role in this case?
Doing the analysis or the extraction of the device.
Did you do any analysis of the device?
I did not.
In terms of the extraction of the device, were you provided an iPhone with the phone number attached to it of 772-713-9807?
Yes, yes.
Prior to coming into court today, did you have the opportunity to review the digital copy of that extraction?
I did.
Okay. I'm showing defense counsel what's been marked as states triple P for identification purposes, showing the witness. Detective Zeller, do you recognize this thumb drive?
I did.
How do you recognize this?
My initials and my ID number on the jump drive.
What is that thumb drive contain?
This is the generated report of the generated report of the cellular device that was extracted.
And is that in the same or substantially same condition as when you performed that extraction?
Yes.
Here at this time, the state is requesting Ms. State triple P in at state 64.
Objection. Yes, sir. Name it.
Sure.
Yeah, in a minute, we are about to start taking shots every time they have a sidebar. So, for those who don't know, currently we are up in the air if this is an expert to phone analysis or phone extraction. Nevertheless, it is an employee of the Memramar Police Department Homicide Unit. And we're really not sure what he's about to provide us, but they are going over data, or at least a thumb drive that's supposed to be of data from a cellular phone. Okay, so make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, run this chat up, because we're gonna be here for a while. The court is just getting started. And as always, man, y'all make sure y'all share, tell a friend to pull up. We are here live, YNW Melly trial, courtesy of Law and Crime Network. They always come through with all of the court hearings. And you know what, Beast? Shout out to Beast, okay? We don't know, but they have one every 2 questions, okay? So this is going to be a long road. I don't even know what else to say to that. But like Gates said, y'all, if y'all can, for those who are not at work, take you a shot. Every time we hear sidebar or that noise, that means they're going up to the bench to discuss and they don't want us to hear what they're talking about. Let's see here. So Prince says we're going to know what they got from the phone for sure. EBK said, why does everyone say take a shot for every sidebar? Because it happens so much. Again, we're on the internet. We're making light of a long situation that is in reality a real situation. But again, this is Truth Team, court of internet opinion. So you kind of get that type of stuff when you're just here for entertainment. But welcome in. Y'all make sure y'all put y'all jury numbers in the chat. We will talk about it throughout. However, when court is talking and moving along, I'm going to try to stay on mute and just be in the chat so that we can hear everything that they're saying. Because earlier I was talking and we missed a little bit. So I'm not going to be talking when they're actively running court. So pull up, get comfortable, do what you got to do. We'll be here. Let's see here. Prince says witness 1, data accuracy, witness 2, forensic data, witness 3, possession of the device. That could be now, because I will say, based off of the testimony from witness from T-Mobile, she really didn't have an answer other than to say they store certain data for their customers on their network. So I will hope that this witness that's on the stand now can tell us exactly how accurate this information is, or what is stored, how it's stored, and how precise it is. Hopefully, if I was actually on the jury, that's what I would want to know. I would want to hear like some, this is this, because the lady didn't really provide that, okay? So hopefully I'll shed some light. This is a long sidebar. So that must mean something was definitely said that's kind of like, could it be? Who called the objection? I think it was the defense, right? Sounds like it's getting interesting. I don't know if I ever finished my thought earlier, but the witness I stated last night, the Travion Glass, he is now back on the discovery with new contact information. So will he be a witness in the trial? We don't know, but he is listed as a Class A witness. Also, Mariah Hamilton was listed as a Class A witness. Deposition was scheduled for May. Could the prosecution be withholding her without releasing to the public that they have her? I don't know. Possibly, maybe, in my opinion, definitely. But that's just my opinion. We don't have no evidence of that other than they have her listed in discovery. So what does that mean to the case as of right now? Well, from 2018 statements, it is said that. So from the 2018 statement, it is said that she provided information that is supposedly been directly from Melly. Okay. So if she does take the stand, I would say that's bad business for all on the case. Okay. Let's see what they're talking about now. Okay, they still have the sidebar. When they have these long sidebars, I wonder, do they ever think what the jury may take from the sidebars being long like this? Because to me, I'm like, well, what was said that was not supposed to be said, or that may not be in the benefit of one side or the other? That's just how my mind works. Maybe that's why I only got called to do jury duty one time. Other than that, we're just here listening. I really don't have a lot of questions as of right now. Since we just got started maybe an hour ago. And they really haven't provided any details. Where my charger at? They haven't gave us much to go on yet. However, I will say this on the side note, Lil Boosie has been granted bond. Okay, the official documents are not out yet, but it did come up in the chat. Shout out to, I forgot what his name is. And shout out to Lamar that hit me up to provide me the information. So just FYI, Lil Boosie granted bond not too long ago. So I'll have the documents when available to put out, and I'll drop that on a short. Okay. Next, what we got? Taste the stand and or her statement being allowed into record. We are assuming she talked about what exactly said on the phone call. Yeah, but see, Prince, another thing that is why she's so important if she does take the stand is she at one point states that Melly confessed to her. That's bad. If she takes that stand and still sticks to that story that Melly provided her details of the situation that wasn't provided to nobody else, she is definitely a class A witness if that still is the story. If you recall when we read the deposition of Felicia Holmes, it refers to when she originally contacted police that her daughter said XYZ. And say, right, remember, admission of guilt is not hearsay. Right. Well, it wouldn't be hearsay for her either because it would have been told directly to her. But that's if she sticks to that story, you know? So I don't know, but it would be interesting, nevertheless, to see if she does take the stand. Now, as of right now, prior to okay, we back.
Objection overruled. That'd be
4.
What's the next number?
64.
Thank you.
So, Detective Cellular, can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what an extraction does?
So the extraction consists or is done in order to obtain whatever's on that phone and to put it in a legible or readable report that's easy for someone to look at. And some of the things that you get also by doing that, you may get items that have been deleted and so on and so forth. And that's why we do those types of extractions.
Nothing further from this witness, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, just briefly. How are you, sir?
Good news, sir.
You said you did a phone dump here of a particular unit that the state referred to.
That's correct.
And you have not analyzed it?
No.
You don't know if there's any relevant evidence on it at all?
That's correct.
Okay. And you don't know who it belongs to, do you?
I do know who it belongs to. Obviously, I'm in the office. I know who it belongs to, but as far as the contents of it, I don't know.
You don't know who uses it?
I do not.
You don't know who it's registered to?
I do not.
Okay. One second. And as to any contents of that phone, you don't know if they're texts, who authored them?
Once again, I don't know the contents of it.
Okay, Your Honor, we'd like to come sidebar if you would.
another sidebar. Y'all hear it? Another sidebar. So what I just took from that brief moment of trial before another sidebar is that the expert that's on there, right, is now stating on record they cannot tell who had that phone in their possession. What do y'all think about that? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because at this point, what can they tell us? It's like almost every person that comes up don't really say what excuse me, y'all, don't really say what we think they're going to say, right? Or what we think they're going to definitely be like, Jersey said, is he asking the wrong question to the different people? Well, I'm gonna be honest. In my opinion, as far as the defense, I think he's asking the right questions because they're not able to answer them. When I think of an expert witness, right, I think of somebody, when I ask the question, they're able to provide me a response. And sometimes, for example, like when I work on cases, right, I consider myself to a certain extent an expert in the documentation on that case when I talk about it. You can tell when I really don't know the case because I won't talk about it like that, or I'll say I don't know. So that's just how I'm looking at it. And I know that's a wild example, but nevertheless, yes, I do look at myself as an expert in some cases when it comes to paperwork. But you can tell about the responses, okay? When you know, you know. When you don't, your responses shows that way. So that's just my view on it. Is that, it kind of seemed like he is. What do y'all think? GTA said good for him. What they doing now? Why he stood up? What is that about? Is he standing up? Why is he standing up?
Thank you. Let the record reflect the jury stepped out. Counsel remain along with the defendant, Mr. Deans. Defendant, you need a restroom break? Need a restroom break? Nope. All right. Thank you. And what does you all want to share with the cases?
Okay, Your Honor, and I can hand them up as I discuss them. I don't think I left one with the court. The one that I referred to first is RLG versus State, 322 Southern 3rd, 721, a third DCA case.
Are they still? I think they're still having the sidebar. So what I was typing in the chat, in my opinion, is it still will show reasonable doubt, because how many of us know people that have phones in somebody else's name? To me, if I was on the jury, I would want to see, like, without a doubt, this is their phone. So, like, if they had a witness, whether it's an expert witness or a regular witness, that can say, oh, you see here that this is a face recognition, right? That shows that this person used their face to get in the phone. Okay, now we may get into this may be a phone that they use. You get what I'm saying? So I think it was on Prince that brought that up last night. So let's see.
This is an app on a phone that purports to account for the number of steps that someone takes. In addition to these cases, I have several articles. There have been lawsuits about the accuracy of the data that is compiled by this type of app, because what it's doing is it's assessing verberations. So, for example, one of the experts we spoke to indicated that his wife plays the piano at church. And every time she goes to church and comes back, she's taken 20,000 steps because she's doing like that. So the fact is that whether or not this information is reliable is yet to be determined. Whether or not the technology has advanced to the point of being reliable is yet to be determined. But this court cannot admit it until the state first meets its burden of establishing the reliability of the data that is compiled or purportedly developed as a result of the technology. Because we don't know if that technology is accurate. Whether it is or not, I'm not taking a position this time. I know I've read a lot of articles that indicate that it's not. However, the state has the burden as an authentication hurdle to, as a foundation, establish that that technology is a reliable one. Because she is going to now, and she's introducing the matter for the truth, told the jury in opening, Mr. Devins, who she believes had the phone, but has no proof of that to begin with, walks 70 steps. Says who? Says an app. What app? The one in his phone. Is it reliable? We don't know. Why? Because she has not established the reliability of the technology as a predicate to the admission of the data. So that is our number one foundation argument.
In case that you want me to read?
Yes, sir.
I have to take a look at it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, I first start with citing back to State versus Maximit, which is a 1967 case, which was the earliest time in which I could find a pedometer being mentioned. And at that point, it's important to note this is a well-established technology that's been in use for hundreds of years, initially done by train conductors to measure out distances. It's also allowed under the Florida statutes and used to be used to measure out distances for determination of 1,000 feet from a place of worship, a school, or anything else, for measuring distances for enhancement on drug penalties. So I'd start by handing that one to Your Honor. Then I also have State v. Birch, which is a Wisconsin case in which similar information was admissible and used in a homicide case. Then also the issue of cell phone dumps, and that's at 398 Wisconsin 2nd 1. And then even more recently, this was a federal case, United States versus Riego, R-I-E-G-O. I just have a Westlaw site because it's 2022, it is not yet. This is 2022 Westlaw 175-46714. And again, those discuss all of the location information and the activity and Apple Health data that was admitted in those cases. And I'll be happy to email copies of those to defense counsel now.
Thank you. All right, we're in recess. I'll read them over.
Your Honor, may I also just direct your attention to a few articles, one of which indicates the highlight here. The reliability of the registered distances, however, depends on a number of factors, including walking speed and walking style of the subject, and can deviate up to 30 to 40% from the true value. That's one of the several articles here. And what I will do is I will compile the articles and send them all back for your review while you're considering the issue, if you don't mind.
Sure, and the state would also submit in terms of law review articles, including a 2016 wearable devices as admissible evidence. Technology is killing our opportunity to lie. The 2019, the iPhone health app from a forensic perspective can stats and distances registered during walking and running being used as digital evidence. And I would direct our attention to the Supreme Court of Alabama. That was Jeffrey West. The individual in that case was convicted as well based on some of the Fitbit data.
And may I just ask if the state is making the representation that all the cases she's citing to do not require that a witness establish the reliability of the technology? It's just put in?
It has been admitted, and I have some of the, sent everything that I'm giving to this honor copy to you as well.
Okay.
Thank you. We're in recess.
Thank you, Judge.
We are currently in recess. It did not state how long said recess is. Let me refresh. All right, y'all. What y'all think so far? It sounds like to me at this point they are battling over if the data from the cell phone in regards to, at one point they said the steps, it shows like how many, when Melly allegedly, right, from the state point of view, Melly was moving around, how many steps they took and all that. Let's see. Prosecutor has a lot of case law backing her. Interesting. She knew about this play then. Okay. Then it says, Keaton said, Buddy think he Johnny Cochran, he killing the prosecution. Let's hear what the experts here have to say.
Speak to the parties. And the prosecutor, if I heard this right at the time, indicated that he didn't know anything about it, about the mistrial motion. Now the judge comes out, it's clean. She heard about the mistrial motion because it was stated in court. And that's what she was asking about. She didn't hear from an outside influence. But I got to tell you, if I were the prosecutor in this case, I'd be concerned that a juror got pulled out. The juror clearly knows I'm the one who gave the information to the court. And I told the juror that I didn't know anything about that, which they shouldn't have said in the first place. The juror may not all be too happy with the prosecutor at this point. Thoughts?
I agree. They might think, well, hey, everything I'm saying, even this little unimportant thing is going to get back to the judge. But on the other hand, it may also strengthen the credibility of the prosecutor, right? Because the juror is not going to say, hey, you know what? This prosecutor plays by the rules, is above board, and doesn't want there to be any bias, any prejudice, anything like that. So it cuts both ways, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. In my opinion, I think by doing that, and I don't know what y'all think. If y'all was that juror that had to come in to verify where she heard that information, what would your thoughts be? I don't know. I don't know about that one. Because I kind of feel like, well, I can't really think of it at this point from that angle because the jurors are not even in the court right now, right? To see the action. Because sometimes I look at that prosecutor and I feel like she's getting beat and she's kind of windmilling sometimes with her responses, but they don't get to see that. So let's see what this lady is saying.
The judge, and he's not doing it in an inappropriate way, but that is an incredibly intimidating situation in an already precarious situation, quite frankly, that they're in. This is somewhat of a charged courtroom. And so I really don't think that ultimately this is going to bode well for the prosecution in this case. However, I don't know that it's going to sort of be the ultimate nail in their proverbial coffin, if you will.
Yeah, listen, there's a whole Olympic-sized swimming pool of data that goes into winning a case. I guess I was the kind of...
So I would definitely agree with the woman that was just speaking. I feel like this would just be another situation against the prosecutor, because if you think about it, so this juror, now let's keep in mind, we don't know how many other jurors heard the same thing, just didn't say anything. Okay, so we got a 4-minute recess. So we don't know how many other jurors heard what was said and just didn't speak on it, right? So what if in the back of their mind, they caught it, right? They are able to use context clues to why it was called at that time, right? And now it's in the back of their mind. So now every time objection is stated against the prosecution, they're going to look at it even more deeper. And this is just my opinion. Again, may not be. I may be thinking too technical on it, but that's how I personally will be looking at it. Every time objection, I'm going to be paying attention more and more on what is said. Every time they have a sidebar that's called by the defense, I'm going to be paying attention to what happens when they come back from that sidebar. Like, in my mind, it's kind of like the stigma will be there. Now, would I say I would go against like what they're saying? I'm not gonna say that, but it definitely would have me looking at them a little sideways. Exactly, Prince. Okay, so to me, I definitely feel now. I do understand how major it would have been for a mistrial. But I just feel like this. I don't know. This just don't seem like it's going well for the prosecution. What it do, King Guap? I just don't think it's gonna go well because so far it's like the prosecution is tainted. Let's not forget this is the same jury that heard in real time the witness Felicia Holmes call out the prosecutor, ruined my life. She literally called the lady a liar on the stand. They literally had like a back and forth moment on the stand to the point the judge had to intervene and say, yo, she asked you a question, you answer the question. That played out in front of the jury, right? Then we hear a motion for mistrial during open court. That plays out in front of the jury, okay? Now, mind you, only one juror stated and came forward to ask a question about it. However, that doesn't mean that was the only one that heard it, okay? Now we're back in court. Soon as the expert witness for the phone extraction comes on, it's 2 sidebars within the first minute of testimony. Then they ask for the jury to leave the courtroom. I'm telling y'all, I don't know. I just feel like it's some stigma that may be playing against the prosecution at this time. Also, the leak. Again, it depends on what this expert with this phone extraction from the police department has to say. But if this guy doesn't answer questions, right, and say, that's not my expertise, or that's not what I do, like the woman did, I don't think this phone record stuff is going to be that strong as far as evidence. But yeah, so let me see. What part, Jersey? Well, we were listening to the experts talk at the end of it where they said they feel like this could be a damper on the prosecution due to everything that has happened, including the juror had to come in and be called out and all that. It's a lot. So I don't want to get back into it because this timer's going to run out. But y'all, we are here. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up. We are having Truth Team Court of Internet Opinion while watching the live YNW Melly trial, courtesy of Law and Crime Trial Network. Shout out to them for always coming through with the information. What it do, Loud Pat? Shout out to my whole jury pool from the Truth Team in the comments. Y'all run the chat up. I will be going on mute as soon as they get to talking because I don't want to miss anything, but I will be actively in the chat. Let's see what this guy got to say.
Great guests. And guys, we only got a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to turn the show over to you. We'll start with Tracy. Thoughts about the whole case, where we are, where we've been, and where do you think we're going?
I really think motive. That's what I keep saying about this case. That's something that really hasn't been discussed. It's something that, quite frankly, is missing. They have a lot of digital data, a lot of forensic data, and quite frankly, a lot of biological evidence as well. However, the motive seems to be missing. And I think the prosecution really needs to be focusing on that. I know you don't necessarily need that to convict, but again, I think it will bode along.
Hey, congratulations to one of my original Truth Team members, Loud Pack, on the birth of his baby. Is it a girl or boy, Loud Pack? Hey, this is our first Truth Team baby. Yay! Congratulations. Definitely, King Guap. What it do, Jules? Yeah, we had us a baby. I don't babysit though. Okay, he had a boy. Shout out to you, Loud Pat. Loud Pat coming through. He is working on the merch for Mickey Truth coming soon, okay? As I was telling y'all earlier, I am revamping the style of my platform. We are now going to be transitioning into, again, Truth Team Court of Internet Opinion, because how we break things down is definitely like a court, okay? So that's how we're going to be doing things. I'm going to start outlining our conversations on live, outlining my content to fit play court. So that's where we're going. Because everybody that pulls up over here, y'all already know we be trying to play judge, jury, and investigator. Okay, but it's all for play. Although these are real life situations, it's definitely the internet. Okay, definitely. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all keep your eyes out. Mickey Truth merchandise coming soon, because we got to go ahead and get this branding together. But yeah, y'all, we are live. We have been going at it about an hour and a half. We was live this morning. Just a little update. The mistrial was denied by the court. No reasoning at this point has been provided in regards to why. However, once we talked about it, it made sense that that was not the way to go anyway, because it was a double homicide. Death penalty, it would definitely been looked upon not that well. Okay. So yes, definitely. Oh, and another congratulations to one of our newest members to the Truth Team, Prince. He has registered for the LSAT. Y'all already know that is our resident YouTube attorney. He be coming through with the facts in the case law. Okay, so shout out to Prince. Welcome. He was one of my subscribers that came over from Clubhouse. And he has been a great addition to the team. Because y'all know sometimes we don't translate well with Clubhouse because we are so detailed and long-winded. And y'all know I get to talking. But he has been a great fit. He runs up the chat and give us the information that we need for sure. Now, let's see. What else we got? So Loud Pat said, so we think he gonna walk or they're gonna throw him under the jail. I personally feel like it's too soon. It's too soon to say. Right now, it's some good moments that the defense is having, and also it's some okay moments for the prosecution, because guess what? If y'all recall, the objection for earlier, what was the objection for? It was with the T-Mobile woman. They tried to get it thrown out. However, the judge overruled it and it stayed. So that was definitely, a win on the prosecution side. All right, let's see. I don't know how long this recess. I thought it was only 4 minutes, but we're going to keep riding out. Oh, Gates said similar. So another 4 minutes. Gates said it's similar to the Madole case in South Carolina. Well, that's bad. So y'all know, even though I'm right here in South Carolina, I started looking at it, but I stopped when it got too much traction. But it definitely was a sticky situation. So I say no mistrial. Look at the momentum the defense would have had. Right. Now, I will say this. I still believe in order for this to be a win for the prosecution, meaning a guilty verdict, it has to be an ace in the hole witness that's going to come. Has to be. Okay. And you know what, Gates, on the side note, right, with the whole Mando, I think it was more so he got away with, so much stuff, and I think it was probably a biased rendering of a verdict, just in my opinion, But I do think it has to be a witness that's going to come through in a clutch and just put it all together. My opinion, right, on who the witness may be, maybe more than one witness. I don't know. But oh, you did? I didn't know. I remember, you know what? I remember you said you was moving. That's what's up. So I think so. These are my opinions, right? As far as the witnesses that could boom. Either, right? YNW Portland, 100K track, 100K track wife, YNW Melly's mom, or whoever the person is that picked Melly up. And I honestly feel like that probably will be next to Portland the most damaging witness, whoever actually picked Melly up. Because, they threw out 2 names at least, right? But whoever that person is, for sure, no matter if it's one they already named or not, whoever it is, if they take the stand, and if the girlfriend, Mariah, takes the stand, And the reason why I said Mariah is because, according to the 2018 statements, and mind you, that was before he was even arrested, information was provided that stated that she knew firsthand knowledge because he told her directly. So for a person to get on the stand, okay. So, who else? And now Mills. So this is the thing with Mills, right? And this is just my opinion. I think Mills would be a better witness on Bortland because in his statement, he just says Melly was acting strange, but he says that Bortland showed them where to look for the guns. Bortland, like he mentioned Bortland too much, so I think that would be a witness for Bortland's case, really not really Melly. Hold on, who was not guilty? Oh yeah, but Mondoa just had a lot going on for sure. And I think with the Mondoa case, that 911 call, or that I don't even think wasn't a 911 call, it may have just been a FaceTime video or something, whatever audio they had of the actual shooting and the son and all that. I think that was definitely bad on his behalf for the jury to hear. I'm trying to see what they're about to do over here. All right, so let me look at our stats for this live. So far, we had 129 people come through. Shout out to everybody. My truth team is concurring as always. I see all y'all. Y'all stay consistent throughout all my lives. And I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to share. Tell a friend to pull up. What to do, Arthur? Okay. Let me see. Shout out to everybody that donated to my chat revenue. I appreciate it. My Cash App is at the bottom of the screen for those who want to send the Cash App. And look, I'm thankful y'all just pulled up. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I'm doing too much. I'm moving the goalposts here. Is this the court?
To account for the number of steps that someone takes. In addition to these cases, I have several articles. There have been lawsuits about the accuracy of the data that.
Okay, that's a replay of what just happened before they went on recess. But yeah, this is where we're at. I think right now it's too soon to really cast your vote. I mean, just personally, just at this point, even before the trial started, I always felt like the evidence was definitely not strong against YNW Melly. I felt like the evidence went towards Bortland. We also read last night the full Arthur hearing for Bortland, which the judge in that case found that the evidence wasn't strong against him either. So this is going to be a doozy. But somebody has to take that stand. I just feel like without precise, like I said, as far as my opinion, on the Melly side of it, what's going to need to be presented, if I was on that jury, in my mind, I would want to know where, why, and when did Melly get out that left seat, right? I would want to know if he did get out of that seat, who was using that phone when the car and the victims and Bortland was at the hospital, and we see evidence that says that phone was still in the area of the crime, right? Another thing I would want to know is, hold on, let me see. It say, do they have GPS from the car? I believe they only have the phone data. Yes, it was a rental. It was a rental in 100K Track's name. Another thing I would want to know is what evidence is it to show that without a doubt Bortland stayed in that driver's seat the whole time? And then once they get to that point, I would definitely want to know about the blood splatter that they had in regards to the position on YNW Bortland's shirt, right? They said it was blood in the front from both victims, blood in the back from one victim. How does that determine exactly if he could have been the shooter or not, right? I would want to know that. Because at this point, based on what they presented at court, Melly does not have a positive GSR. Bortland does. Bortland is seen with the victims when they was last time they were seen alive. He's seen with the victims when they are deceased. And then also, what else? Bortland provided the false statement in the beginning. Now, to me, if we're going to say, because remember in the Arthur hearing, his lawyers argued that he was basically just innocent of everything until the very end, but he tried to help by bringing them to the hospital. Well, I would want to know, right? Why was a fake statement provided then, right? If he's not going to be like equally considered in this case with Melly for murder, why is he providing a false statement? And y'all do have to don't mind Arthur, okay? Arthur is our conspiracy troll of the truth team. He says a lot of outlandish stuff, okay? Let me see. Even if he's found guilty, I don't think he would get the death penalty. And to be honest, I really feel like if he is, and at this point, like I said, I don't know if they got that ace in the hole yet. But if we just look at what the prosecution provided so far, I would say Melly possibly, if found guilty, could get out on appeal on technicalities, because I'm pretty sure it's a technicality somewhere in here. Dude, are they back live? My bad, I'm just talking.
Not Jamel Demons. It was retrieved.
Okay, we back live.
Jameson Francois, not Jamel Demons. So it's neither in his name, it wasn't retrieved from him, and it comes up with an ID. It was being used after the defendant was arrested. We have information here that indicates that definitively. It shows the phone being used to call. It shows the same step data from that very unit after he is incarcerated. So it's obvious that it's being used by several other people. So we can't even say that it's his phone and the information there is therefore all relevance, all information on it is non-hearsay because it's statements of the defendant. Not only is it being used by others to text, to call, being carried by others, it's in somebody else's name, retrieved from someone else, and this witness has not analyzed a single letter, all the information that he can put in. So there is a ton of irrelevant evidence that is being introduced, and a lot of it is going to be prejudicial, 404B and 403 evidence, and that's why we objected before. I didn't wait until after, because one of the points that the court made is you already let it in. We objected before, Judge, and you told us, overruled, let it in. It's still a problem right now, and we're trying to stem the damage before it goes too far. And we think that the issue has to be addressed before this information is used and it goes forward, both on the foundation issue, on the technology issue, authentication issue, relevancy issue, 403, 404B issue.
Thank you. The relevancy issue is relatively low, counsel. My understanding, where's the phone located at, counsel?
The phone itself?
Yeah.
That will be introduced through the...
No, where was it? Where is the phone located?
The phone was located, it was taken from the defendant's manager on February of 2019. The defendant was providing the passcode and information via jail calls to his manager to use it on that. And the phone also authenticates itself in terms of every single photo that is on that, whether it be a selfie, a screenshot of a FaceTime conversation, or anything of that, goes back to this defendant.
And they have to establish it before they put it in, not after the fact, on this notion that they possess information that makes it relevant. If they do, present it, and then it's relevant at that time. We have, Your Honor, indications of this cell phone and this Instagram account that the state has introduced. The Instagram account is being used to post pictures days after his arrest, up to and including pictures of this very trial last week. This Instagram account is being used and accessible to a number of people. This notion that, oh, it's his account, he's an artist. It's a public account that several people have access to.
I'm sure you're gonna be able to ask those type of questions, counsel. My thought is this, counsel, it's not fair to basically give me an inch worth of things to read, cases to read, articles to read, saying it's not, the methodology is, and basically a Daubert issue on it. It's not clear, it's not been established, all those types of things. That should have been done pre-trial. I haven't seen what's on the account. I don't disagree with that. Counsel's telling me it's relevant because of X, Y, and Z there. You're saying it's not, but I don't know what is the 403 analysis, what's more prejudicial than probative. I haven't seen anything about that. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it. You haven't made me aware of it. You're just saying it's something more prejudicial than probative. If it is, I'm more than happy to go through one at a time with you and find out. But as far as who used the phone, what was it being done, counsel's saying it's relevant to establish his phone. So I've made my ruling. You've made your objection. So everybody knows where they stand on it. All right, so it's admitted.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, bring the jury back in.
Process, Mr. Howard, are you finished with your cross? Or do you have to talk about that? Yes.
I don't think he has any relevant information. He said.
So you're finished?
Bring the jury.
I may ask a few.
Jury entering.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. For the delay, please be seated. Let the record once again reflect the presence of the defendant, his counsel, the assistant state attorneys. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, all witnesses remain to understand. So you have questions, counsel?
Yes, I have a few more, Your Honor. Thank you. You did, sir, 2 data dumps from the device in question. I did 2 or 1? You did 2 of them, did you not?
I did on this device, I did 1 extraction.
No, you did it once?
If I recall.
Did you have the data verified by any third party for completeness of the download?
No.
And you made that decision, was it your decision whether or not to do that kind of verification?
Yes.
Okay, and you elected not to?
Correct, I elected not to.
Did you have an engineer review any of the data that you retrieved?
No.
And have you validated that the Cellular extracts in the data that you did were in fact complete?
The extraction is the extraction, and that's what I got out of it. That's what the machine gave me, yes.
Okay, and how did you verify that the machine gave you a complete download?
I understand when you say a complete download.
You said you don't understand what I mean?
No, you can elaborate on that.
How did you verify that the machine, the Cellular software that you used, downloaded the contents of the phone in its entirety? How did you go about verifying that?
That is not something that I can verify. That is whatever the data that comes from that phone and appears on the software. That's what I have. That's what I can do.
Okay, so you can't verify.
I cannot.
Is there a process of maybe testing? Is there another, first of all, software that you can use to download the information?
Sure, there's other software.
And you only use the Cellular?
Correct.
And if you use another software and compare the downloads, that would be one way for you to test it, whether or not the download was complete, right?
In theory, I guess so, yes.
In actuality.
All right, I'll stipulate that.
Okay. So when you say there's no way to do it, it is what it is, what you're saying is there is a way to do it and you didn't do it.
If that's what you want to call it, but it's not true. That's not correct.
Oh, so you did test it on another software?
No, I did not, but this is the only software that I have available to me.
Okay. So it's not that you had another software available to you that could help to verify the completeness and accuracy of your results. It's that you can do it, but you didn't have that software available to you.
Well, correct, I did not do it, no.
Do you know anything about the testing of the technology of Cellular as to its efficiency and operability?
No, I don't. I'm not an engineer for that.
So you, pardon me?
I'm not an engineer for that.
Okay, so it would take an engineer to do that?
Or somebody from that company, not me.
Okay, so it's like any kind of software. If you have the software and it doesn't work in totality or it doesn't work completely, you're stuck with the answers.
I'm not understanding what you're trying to get at, but if you rephrase it one more time, I appreciate that.
If that Cellular did not give you a complete and accurate download, you would have no way of knowing it.
That is correct.
Okay, because you didn't have comparable software or similar software to test the results against.
Correct.
Okay, so you're just trusting in the faith. You're just having faith that the Cellular.
Sustained.
You are relying upon the accuracy and completeness of the Cellular technology, right?
That's correct.
Even though you don't know anything about whether or not it works properly.
Correct.
Okay. Have you ever done a data dump from a phone more than once? Any phone?
Yes.
On Cellular?
Yes.
And was it a phone that left your possession and then you regained possession of it?
When you're saying left my possession, I'm sorry.
In other words, it left the custody strikeout. In the instances when you have downloaded information from a phone on using Cellular more than once, I presume you did it for a reason.
So one of the reasons why I probably would do it is maybe a software update from Cellular.
Okay, that's one of the reasons. What else? What are the other reasons you might do it?
That's the reason that I would use it.
Okay.
Can I have one more, Your Honor?
Yes.
So it is your testimony, sir, that you didn't do an extraction from this phone in June? What year is it? And then another at a later date?
I don't recall.
Or at an earlier date in April?
I don't recall.
Well, you have any information there before you? Any of your reports that would indicate that?
I have one that was completed on February 28th.
February
2019, I think it is.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
Councilor Zay, redirect.
Briefly, Your Honor. Detective Zeller, counsel asked you whether or not Celebrate is accurate.
Correct.
In your training and experience, can you speak on that particular subject?
Objection?
What's the objection?
This witness has already testified that he can't speak.
Sustained.
So Detective Zeller, in terms of you've used Celebrate numerous times,
That's correct.
approximately how many?
Hundreds.
Have you found any instances in which Celebrate added data to a forensic download or dump that wasn't on the phone itself?
I'm sorry.
Objection?
What's the objection?
You would have no way of knowing that.
Overruled.
Can you ask it one more time? Sorry.
Have you ever had an instance in which Celebrate has added data to the forensic extraction or data dump that was not on the phone itself?
That was not on the phone. Not that I'm aware of.
In terms of the way to physically review, how would you do that on your cell phone and compare it against a Celebrate extraction?
Well, there's a couple things I could do. I could look at the different artifacts that are extracted, meaning, so I would look maybe at a particular phone call was made at a certain time and date, or a certain picture that was there at a certain time and date, or a video, or so on and so forth, whatever that's there. That's one way of doing it, yes.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. Are you saying you would look at outside evidence from the phone and see if it agrees?
Correct, yes.
In terms of the information and the data that's put out there, what is the purpose of taking it off the phone?
Well, you also don't want to use the original, and you're pretty much making a copy of the phone so that you don't ruin anything, delete anything, or compromise the device, or anything of that nature. So you work off that copy.
In terms of when the phone is brought to you, are there steps that are taken to make sure that there's no outside or internet or network access with the phone?
Yeah, so usually the phones are put in what's called airplane mode, where you disable all cellular connections.
And in terms of the type of extraction that was done in this case, what type of extraction was done?
This is called an advanced logical extraction. So
What does that mean?
So there's different forms of extraction. The advanced logical pretty much gets, for the most part, when I use the word everything on there, when I say everything, meaning the context, the pictures, the videos, the communications, any sort of communications that are on there, deleted items, specifically deleted items.
Okay. And in terms of to get the advanced logical extraction, what information do you need as an examiner?
Meaning, I'm
Do
sorry.
you need the passcode to the phone?
Yes, you do need the password, correct, yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is this witness excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You may step down. You're excused.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. For your next witness, please.
Brendan Collins.
I surely don't see track in there. Hold up, let me peep it out. What y'all think about that? I don't see 100K track in the courtroom. I know if you're part of the case, you can't be there.
Standing for a bit, raise your right hand and be sworn.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
And state your full legal name for the record.
Brendan Collins.
Please spell your first and last name for the court report.
My first name is spelled Brendan. My last name is spelled Collins.
Thank you. Please be seated. Collins, that microphone in front of you, adjust up or down, but doesn't move back and forth.
Thanks, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, you may.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Collins. How are you?
Good afternoon, I'm doing well.
Where are you employed?
I'm an FBI agent, so I'm employed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and my full job title is Supervisory Special Agent.
And how long have you held that position?
This current position, about 18 months. I've been employed by the FBI for since 2012.
And as far as education, what types of degrees do you hold?
I have a bachelor's.
And is it in a specific area?
I was a history major in college.
Were you employed anywhere else prior to working for the FBI?
By the Army.
And how long were you employed by the Army?
About 6.5 years. I had a couple different jobs.
Going back to where you're working now at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, what are your responsibilities as an FBI agent?
Well, agents do all sorts of different things. Generally, agents are all investigators, and in the FBI, we investigate a myriad of crimes from violent crimes, economic crimes. We also have national security mandates. Me specifically right now, I'm the supervisor of a squad that focuses on transnational organized crime.
So do you also have an ancillary assignment?
Not right now, I used to.
Would you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is the task team for the FBI?
Sure. So CAST, or the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, is a group of specially trained and equipped agents and task force officers who do cellular analysis or mobile device location analysis.
And so when you say that, what types of records are you working with?
Usually records from phone companies or other service providers.
Okay. Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is historical cell site analysis?
Sure. So when someone uses a phone or a mobile device to do something, to make a call, to send or receive a text, to check a sports score, or check your email, post something on social media, has to connect to the cellular network or through the internet. When you connect through the cellular network, there's a record that's generated by your phones, by the phone company. So you have T-Mobile gives you service to your cell phone. When you make a call, you'll see records on your T-Mobile sheets about that call. Historic cell site analysis is using those records to answer questions.
So what's the purpose of historical cell site analysis?
To help with investigations.
And what are the main components of a historical cell site analysis?
Well, if you're being asked to do like a location analysis, in other words, the case involves trying to determine where a particular device was at a certain point in time, you really have three things that you need. First, you need the records for that particular device. That will say that the initial records, like a call detail record, for instance, will sort of look like a billing statement that you might get from a phone company. Will say, this date, time, this phone number, place this call to this other number, etc. Except it will also have additional information. It will say a cell tower that the phone connected to when it made that call. So you need that record about the device. You also need a record of tower locations that says, okay, the tower the phone connected to is located at this particular point on the earth. You put those two things together into some sort of mapping software and plots it, and then it will give you a general area of where the device was at the time that it connected to that tower.
So you said device. Can you testify a specific person was in a specific area?
No.
Why not?
The records I have are just about devices.
So there are limitations to your testimony.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm talking about devices, not people.
Have you received any specialized training to become an agent that does CAST as well?
Yes.
What is that?
To be CAST certified is pretty extensive. There's several stages that the certification process is broken into. The first, so I started my initial training in 2017. The first phase of training is the CAST basic course. That's a 2 or 3 day course where agents and officers from our local, state, or other federal agencies are exposed to what cellular analysis is and how to do it at the basic level.
Do you use the CAST work in your day-to-day cases? Before you became a supervisor?
Yes.
And so is this a required assignment to go to the CAST team?
No, on the, but there's a lot more training than just that 2 day thing. Is that okay?
Oh, well, let's start with, to do that first 2 day training.
Yeah, so the first.
Is that mandatory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go on past that, is that something you have to apply for?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and to explain after that first initial training, what happens? What's the next level of training you complete?
So the next course is called the advanced course, and it's a week-long course. And that's just a more in-depth dive into each of the networks. So specifically, what are the uniquenesses of, say, Verizon or T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, when it was a standalone provider? What do their records look like? What are the uniquenesses of the way their network's designed, et cetera. After the advanced course, then we have a sort of a test. It's like a week long. When I went through, it was a mix of part in the classroom and part in the field, where it's all scenario based. So, for instance, you'd be like a kidnapping scenario, like, hey, this child was abducted. Your job is the asset going through to try and use the records to develop a search location and say, yeah, I think that we need to go here to try and recover the child. You do a portion in the classroom, you do a portion in the real world where they have test phones set up in different locations, and you validate the results right there. So you either find the person or you wouldn't, and at the end you either pass or fail. So I passed, and I was allowed to continue to the certification course, which is a 4-week course. The first 2 weeks are very academic. We have a week that's basically a semester's worth of material condensed into a week. It's put on by professors from the Florida Institute of Technology. We bring in representatives from all the major cell phone providers in the U.S., both their law enforcement relations and records custodians personnel. We talk about these are the types of records that we keep in our specific record, in our specific company. We also bring in personnel from the network engineers, so the people who build the network, who design it. We go to infrastructure, so like the Sprint Network Operations Center, where they oversee the management of the whole network across the country, et cetera. And then at the end of that, there's a test, and you either pass and are certified, or you don't.
Okay, so Special Agent Collins, are you certified in CAST analysis?
Yes.
How long have you held that certification for?
I got certified in September of 2018.
Is there continuing education or recertification that's required?
Yes, so to keep your CAST certification, every year you have to attend a recertification course.
Okay. Is all of the training specifically from the FBF?
No.
What other agencies and I guess companies do the training for you?
Yes, we have partnerships, or not partnerships, but we'll bring in educators from a lot of different companies. So obviously the different telecommunications companies are critical. So we have them come to the recertification conference every year. We've had a range of other people. We've had Apple, Qualcomm, Oracle, people in the field of GPS, cellular engineering, vehicles for vehicle telematics, and anybody that's sort of involved in that ecosystem.
Okay, so you mentioned Apple, Qualcomm. What are those?
Those are different manufacturers.
Is there also specific as to cellular technology and how it works, training on that?
For what?
In terms of being a CAST certification?
After recertification?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
How long have you been specializing in call detail records analysis?
So call detail record analysis is really like the bread and butter of what CAS does. So since I started the training process in 2017, that's it's when I first really got exposed to working call detail records or CDRs.
Okay, and approximately how many times have you done this type of analysis?
I've done more than 130 cases and that have included more than approximately 300 sets of records.
When you say a set of records,
yeah,
what does that mean?
Like a call detail record or an engineering report, some sort of data report, some sort of report from a phone company about a particular device.
And in terms of the types of cases that you've worked, what have they been?
Again, violent crimes like homicides or shootings, white-collar crimes, and then public corruption, crimes against children, terrorism.
Okay. Have you worked cases where you've been called upon to determine the location of a cell phone?
Yes.
How many?
I mean, for the 130 so cases that I've helped with, the vast majority of those have to do with location, historical location of the phone.
Have you had the opportunity to validate your historical call data reconstructions or that you do?
Yes.
And how do you do that?
Well, as we mentioned sort of during the, I was talking about the train up, if it's a situation, a case where we're trying to find someone who we believe is in possession of the device, and you do an analysis and you say, I think we need to go to this house, and you go there and the person and the phone are there, that's validation. If we have a case where we have some sort of other evidence that corroborates it, like a crimes against children case, and there's metadata on media that was produced at a specific location, and we have cell site that says, okay, we know this film or something was produced here, and here's what the cell site looks like, that corroborates it.
So when you say metadata, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, that's outside of what I do with CAS, but that would be something that would be in a media file perhaps, that somebody else would you extract the file from using a physical extraction device or a computer or some other device. Sometimes there's metadata embedded within the image or video or whatever that will tell you different things, such as when the picture or movie was produced, where it may have been produced, or the picture may have been taken, etc.
Here, I'm just going to offer Special Agent Collins as an expert in the area of historical cell site and cellular technology and offer for water.
Hey, you want to come side up, sir?
Look, I had to find my glasses. I'm back. So we got a sidebar. So far, this witness is testifying from a federal agent standpoint in regards to using cellular data and records. I personally do not see the smoking gun yet.
Thank you.
But let's see.
Thank you. Can we arrange for a restroom break for Mr. Demings, please?
Yes, sir.
We'll be in recess.
Is that another sidebar? All right. So far, this witness is stating what they can. What is they saying? Let me refer to our truth team legal analysis analyst. I said analysis analyst. So according to our truth team legal analyst Prince, the purpose of this witness is stating that he's explaining what methods he uses to validate whose phone.
Me specifically right now, I'm the supervisor of a squad that focuses on transnational organized crime.
So do you also have an ancillary assignment?
Not right now, I used to.
Would you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is the CAST team for the FBI?
Sure. So CAST, for the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, is a group of specially trained and equipped agents and task force officers who do cellular analysis or mobile device location analysis.
And so when you say that, what types of records are you working with?
Usually records from phone companies or other service providers.
Okay. Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is historical cell site analysis?
Sure. So when someone uses a phone or a mobile device to do something, to make a call, to send or receive a text, to check a sports score, or check their email, post something on social media, that's to connect to the cellular network or through the internet. When you connect through the cellular network, there's a record that's generated by your phones, by the phone company. So you have T-Mobile gives you service to your cell phone. When you make a call, you'll see records on your T-Mobile sheets about that call. Historic cell site analysis is using those records to answer questions.
So what's the purpose of historical cell site analysis?
To help with investigations.
And what are the main components of a historical cell site analysis?
Well, if you're being asked to do like a location analysis, in other words, the case involves trying to determine where a particular device was at a certain point in time, you really have three things that you need. First, you need the records for that particular device. And that will say that, it'll look at the initial records, like a call detail record, for instance, will sort of look like a billing statement that you might get from a phone company. Will say, this date, time, this phone number, place this call to this other number, etc. Except it will also have additional information. It will say a cell tower that the phone connected to when it made that call. So you need that record of the device. You also need a record of tower locations that says, okay, the tower the phone connected to is located at this particular point on the earth. You put those two things together into some sort of mapping software and plots it, and then it will give you a general area where the device was at the time that it connected to that tower.
So you said device. Can you testify a specific person was in a specific area?
No.
Why not?
Because the records I have are just about devices.
Okay. So there are limitations to your testimony.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm talking about devices, not people.
Have you received any specialized training to become an agent that does CAST as well? What is that?
To be CAST certified is pretty extensive. There's several stages that the certification process is broken into. So I started my initial training in 2017. The first phase of training is the CAST basic course. That's a 2 or 3 day course where agents and officers from our local, state, or other federal agencies are exposed to what cellular analysis is and how to do it at the basic level.
Do you use the CAST work in your day-to-day cases before you became a supervisor?
Yes.
And so is this a required assignment to go to the CAST team?
No, I don't want to interrupt, but there's a lot more training than just that 2 day thing. Is that okay?
Oh, well, let's start with, to do that first 2 day training.
Yeah, so the first.
Is that mandatory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go on past that,
yeah.
Is that something you have to apply for?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and to explain after that first initial training, what happens? What's the next level of training you complete?
So the next course is called the advanced course, and it's a week long. course, and that's just a more in-depth dive into each of the networks. So specifically, what are the uniquenesses of, say, Verizon or T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint when it was a standalone provider? What do their records look like? What are the uniquenesses of their network's designed, et cetera. After the advanced course, then we have a sort of a test. It's like a week long. When I went through, it was a mix of part in the classroom and part in the field, where it's all scenario based. So, for instance, you'd be like a kidnapping scenario, be like, hey, this child was abducted. Your job is the asset going through to try and use the records to develop a search location and say, yeah, I think that we need to go here to try and recover the child. You do a portion in the classroom, you do a portion in the real world where they have test rooms set up in different locations, and you validate the results right there. So you either find the person or you wouldn't. And at the end, you either pass or fail. So I passed, and I was allowed to continue to the certification course, which is a 4-week course. The first 2 weeks are very academic. We have a week that's basically a semester's worth of material condensed into a week. It's put on by professors from the Florida Institute of Technology. We bring in representatives from all the major cell phone providers in the U.S., both their law enforcement relations and records custodians personnel. We talk about these are the types of records that we keep in our specific record, in our specific company. We also bring in personnel from the network engineers, so the people who build the network, who design it. We go to infrastructure, so like the Sprint Network Operations Center, where they oversee the management of the whole network across the country, et cetera. And then at the end of that, there's a test, and you either pass and are certified, or you don't.
Okay, so Special Agent Collins, are you certified in CAST analysis?
Yes.
How long have you held that certification for?
I got certified in September of 2018.
Is there continuing education or recertification that's required?
Yes, so to keep your CAST certification, every year you have to attend a recertification course.
Okay. Is all of the training specifically from the FDM?
No.
What other agencies and I guess companies do the training for you?
Yes, we have partnerships, or not partnerships, but we'll bring in educators from a lot of different companies. So obviously the different telecommunications companies are critical. So we have them come to the recertification.
Cheaters hate this website. A Spokio name search may tell you who your partner is getting close to. Spokio can also help you find details like photos, dating profiles, social media accounts, and much more. Try Spokio today and uncover the truth about the people around you.
My bad.
Those are different manufacturers.
Is there also specific as to cellular technology and how it works, training on that?
For what?
In terms of being a CAST certification?
After recertification?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been specializing in call detail records analysis?
Further, I'm going to give Juror a copy of the order that was discussed about the report that was done by Judge Siegel. This was signed on April 4th of 2022.
Sure. Are you intending to seek to admit the report?
Yes, and that's what that.
Admit the report.
Yes, and that's what that.
Should we just object now that the reports are inadmissible?
I don't know what you're speaking of.
I don't think we admitted to admitting the report, we said we would
Excuse
agree.
me, I only want to hear from one. Whose witness is this going to be?
This is my witness, Judge.
All right, so you make the objection. So this is an order on the admissibility of expert witness testimony by Federal Bureau of Investigation Special Agent Brendan Collins. Let me read it.
I believe it was like residue in that little jar that was in the car.
Order to the judge. Says here, defendant stipulated to the admissibility at trial of the expert testimony of Special Agent Brendan Collins in the area of cellular phone forensics. This stipulation includes special agent Collins' testimony regarding the cellular analysis survey team cast report. And based upon the defense stipulation, it is ordered and judged that Special Agent Collins' expert testimony in the area of cellular phone forensics and on the cast report is admissible at trial. What's the issue?
So I believe counsel is trying to state that we are going to object to the admissibility of the cast report. We had stipulated to his testimony after deposing him. And then I will also bring to the record, she's trying to bring in 3 different cast reports when we had deposed Agent Collins. We only had deposed him as to 1 cast report. We had extensive conversations about whether the state would be bringing in the additional cast reports. We had agreed at that time, if they were going to bring in those reports, she would let us know and we would depose him again. That never happened. We were always told it would be the 1 report of the 2 phone numbers. And which we are objecting to the admissibility of those reports based on hearsay. Also, they are misleading, and also the information in those reports have not been properly validated by an engineer.
Okay, so as of April 4th, 2022, what report was in existence as far as Special Agent Collins?
So the first one that was with regards to Anthony Williams' cell phone, as well as Mr. Demon's cell phone. That one was
What
done.
other reports are out there?
The other ones were generated in May of 2022 and immediately turned over to defense counsel, and I have a very different recollection of that. This was listed at the same time as Mr. Zeller that we just had, so there was never any additional office request to depose this witness. But Special Agent Collins has been available for the last however long if they so chose to do so.
And Judge, I would just for the record make an objection to her characterizing that particular phone that is actually registered to J.D. King as Mr. Demon's phone. I don't believe that has been established.
Thank you. So what is the report?
Judge, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I asked for the report. I need to know what the report says. I'm not familiar with it.
Yes, sir. So they're all substantially similar. They do different cell phones at different times. That one is the one of Mr. Demons and Mr. Williams, explaining how the cellular.
Objection.
Explaining how.
I don't understand. I'm asked for what the report is. I want to see it. You say objection again. What's your objection?
My objection is to the characterization of that it's Mr. Demon's phone and Mr. Williams' phone, actually.
Yes. Do you have another copy of the report?
Emailed it to Ms. Liberty.
I'll get it.
Thank you.
So what is Agent Collins going to do?
Agent Collins would testify as to how he does the analysis, how he generates those timing advance bands, and what it means as to the location of the cellular devices based on the records, which is all done as a product of the accuracy of the records and the fact that the cell phone communicates in a consistent way based on the laws of physics with a cell phone tower.
Because in here, it talks about the phone 772-713-9807, T-Mobile says Jamel Demons. This goes below 954-248-9081, T-Mobile Anthony Williams. And it has the date of the report being May 12th, 2022.
Yes, Your Honor.
So this report date is after the order date.
It is. That is the second. It's the same one. It was all done at the same time. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a typo that had to be finished on the spelling of the defendant's name, which is why it was generated at a second time on that point.
May I respond, Judge?
You respond, you say what you want, counsel.
I would just say the simple fact that it has Mr. Evans' name on it, Mr. Williams' name, that needs to be stricken along with the other 3 reports, which were actually filed after the COSUM. It is my recollection that we were told in court that they would not be used. There was a question if Jameson Francois' CAS report would be used. She didn't give us a definitive answer. We finally rested on the fact that she was not going to be using Mr. Francois' phone. So it is a little bit of surprise that is now being introduced at trial. And the other one, I believe, with Withers, we never ever discussed it.
Hold on.
Yes, Judge.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I don't fully understand this order dated April 22nd. It says, order to judge Special Agent Collins' expert testimony in the area of cellular phone forensics and on the CAS report. So he's going to testify. I wouldn't normally admit a CAS report. I don't see why it would come in here. I don't see this specifically saying it's admissible. I see it's saying Special Agent Collins' expert testimony in the area of the cellular phone forensics and on the CAS reports in this lawsuit. He can testify. He's here. You can ask him questions that you want, but I don't believe I'd be letting this into evidence. It's just, he's here. His testimony is his testimony.
And so, with regards to that, the necessity of the maps is that the Special Agent Collins is going to testify in terms of latitude, longitude, and distances on that. Without a map and using that for the jurors to be able to understand where this is being placed on the actual map, that's going in a vacuum.
He can show it as a demonstrative aid if that's going to help him illustrate his testimony. I don't have an issue with that. That's a different question for me. Typically, we don't just admit an expert's report. The expert's here is going to testify.
Yes, sir.
And it's not clear for me from this order that that's what Judge Siegel anticipated, that the report was coming in. I don't have any issue regarding his testimony. They're not even, defense indicated they're not even board hire him regarding his qualifications. So, he's able to testify. But as far as the report coming in, I don't read your order that way, respectfully.
Understood. So, Your Honor, then if I can show the admissibility of the maps with that on there, then you would evaluate them as they're offered individually.
I don't have an issue. I mean, if he's able to identify them and talk to them, that's a different issue. You're wanting to admit the whole report in as the way I understand as substantive evidence. And typically that's not the way it's done. I mean, the testimony is the testimony of the witness. Not the report, otherwise it's cumulative, it's duplicative, or whatever he's going to testify to. I don't see, the order talks about a date in April. This report was given after that date. I don't know if this is what the judge intended. You said there were some amendments. I don't know what the amendments are. I don't know if they were approved by the defense. They're saying they're objecting to it. Typically, that's just not done the way it's being done, putting in the document.
So Your Honor, there are a trend number of cases on that specific issue, which I'm happy to provide the court.
What specific issue? About a report coming in?
About the maps and the mapping being admissible. So that would be.
I'm not concerned about the mapping. I'm concerned about the report per se.
Well, I just want to make sure we're clear on what specifically. So some of them, this specific items are demonstrative on that. So for example, and I can put it up so everybody can see, so it's clear. So Special Agent Collins, I anticipate would testify that, for example, there is cell tower usage and how that would be displayed on that. So that wouldn't be confused with cell site usage. So that's because there could be the possibility that a juror would think, well, this is showing that the phone is somewhere in this purple area, which would not be correct, as opposed to, for example, a timing advanced illustration, which in this case, the witnesses can testify that the phone is somewhere in this band based on, and then as well as, so in terms of the way the mapping is then done, to make it clear and understand that these red dots are not the specific locations, but rather the towers that are used. I think it's important for the jurors to understand that and have the first part of that analysis there so that there can't be any sort of improper recall by the jurors on that. So then as to the locations on those, and this would be one of the timing advance. So if they don't have the other first part,
Which I think is renewed again.
Excuse me, counsel. I don't think she's done.
Okay, sorry, Judge.
so it's more so the fact that the timing advance data and the way it is done, I don't want there to be any confusion to the jurors to saying that this is overstating the evidence. So if I just put in these particular items without the full explanation, because I don't think it is appropriate to do so without the jurors understanding the limitations of the testimony and what the different maps show. So on that would be the specific parts the state would be seeking to introduce, because the locations of the towers are important to how the math is done.
My understanding is that the defense is objecting to that exhibit. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Does that include the maps?
That does include the maps, Judge.
So they're objecting to it. So I guess you have, in some way, it has to come out how it was done. And you can talk to the witness and see if he can, authenticate it. Originally I was thinking that you were using it as demonstrative, and I would ask him if that helps illustrate his testimony or not. But if you're saying it, you're not concerned with that, you want to admit them into evidence. So the objection is, what's the objection?
That it's irrelevant. I would also object to the fact that
It's not relevant?
It's not relevant. It's also referring to Mr. Demon's phone. Nobody's established that number was his. It's referring to Mr. Williams' phone. You've got no testimony that establishes that it's Mr. Williams' phone. If we were to go to the other two reports, I don't know how the court's ruling on them. Again, she's referencing the phone numbers, assigning them to people. We have had no testimony or evidence before the court that those actual phone numbers belong to those individuals.
Thank you. So I haven't heard any phone numbers being assigned to any individuals.
If I may, Your Honor,
Sure.
that is why the state introduced the phone slip that has been brought in through the defendant's fingerprints, that he endorsed that as his telephone number, and as such, the state can now argue that. As to all of the other individuals, those are coming in from the phone records themselves. For example, Dungevius Withers and Chris Thomas, as I went through with the Sprint records custodian.
So let me start. What is the phone number that's on that pawn receipt that you're saying is Mr. Demons?
772-713-9807. And that's why we had the fingerprint analysis done, and they came in and identified that as the fingerprint of the defendant.
Thank you. And what's the next phone number that's?
The next two phone numbers that are the easiest ones to go through, Your Honor, are the phone numbers of Christopher Thomas, 772-713-2341. And if Your Honor recalls,
713-341. Should be another number.
772-713-2341. And I can bring up here for Your Honor the specific information on Mr. Thomas's phone that was brought in earlier through the Sprint records custodian. And there's the phone number at the top of the screen, 772-713-2341. Billing address for Chris Thomas.
All right.
Going down in the same records, because they were produced at the same time. In addition, the email address with it is Chris Thomas 86. Again, consistent with Christopher Thomas. The next phone number that is on this particular is 954-371-7895. And that is belonging to an individual by the name of Dungevius Withers.
Are there any other phone numbers this witness is going to be testifying with?
Yes, Your Honor. He would also be testifying on the T-Mobile records to the individual by the name of Jameson Francois, and to go to the subscriber information for Mr. Francois's phone. This is related to Miss Adria Scott. There's been testimony that Adria, or AA, is the wife of Jameson Francois. In addition, that phone number for Mr. Francois, 954-376-9158, is consistently in the phone download of Mr. Demons, and it is listed as track. And there are plenty of photographs and things of that nature that would show and illustrate that Mr. Jameson Francois, also known as Track, is the owner of that phone number.
But it's actually in his wife's name.
Correct. And if the rest of the subscriber information also says it is a family plan with multiple lines.
All right,
Rate
so
plan, family, unlimited, 2 lines included.
on the subscriber information for the first phone that you're suggesting is Mr. Demons, what does that subscriber information look like?
That comes back to his mother, Jamie King.
So let's go back now. What's on I don't know what the exhibit number was. Did you print out anything on these phones? I think there was a printout. They objected to it.
There's multiple printouts on the phone, not all of which have been entered into evidence at this point, Your Honor.
But what's in evidence so far?
I can pull that up and just take a moment.
State 64.
This is the extraction.
That's correct. For example, 95446. Three 7 6 9158. There are 1,129 messages between the phone owner, Mr. Demons, and other individuals in which Mr. Francois is a participant in those conversations.
So again,
the
you
defense
indicated
gonna
this
hurry
is
up, this
Mr.
gonna be a
Devin's
problem.
phone. You just told me the subscriber information reflects that it's his mother's phone.
The plan is paid for by his mother. His mother's phone is in here. She is listed under Brazy, B-R-A-Z-Y, lady, and that's the 772-501-6942, which is listed as an additional number subscriber on the phone for Mr. and the phone records from T-Mobile for Mr. Dimmons.
Judge, I just want to point out, she's saying that these are messages between Mr. Demons and various people. This cell rate actually tells you, like she stated, like it's going to track, but it's coming from young Sat Chaser Howard, and he's registering as the owner of the 9807 phone, which in these reports keep going back to Mr. Demons, but in the cell rate is showing young Sat Chaser Howard.
And so in further showing as to who owns the phone, we can look at all of the videos and images of Mr. Demons, of which there are over 1,000 videos on the phone showing he is the user and owner of this particular device.
Judge, again, I don't think that shows that he's the user and owner. It shows that whoever had possession of this phone took videos of Mr. Demons. They're not selfies. These are actually pictures that appears to be taken by another party.
Well, these are all videos, actually. If you want to go to the selfies, I can go to the 10,963 images to show some of those.
I don't know how she's determining your selfies, Judge, without a testimony and such.
So for example, in this particular image, it's a screenshot of a FaceTime conversation in which the large image is going to be the person who's on the other line. The local device is going to be the tiny picture up at the top, which is of Mr. Demons. This is just one of many, many examples.
And can you go back to the main subscriber information page?
In terms of this one,
So where does it show the subscribers?
this is from the device itself, Your Honor. This is an extraction from Cellular, that phone, in terms of information as to user accounts that are on this particular phone. You have YNW Melly booking at gmail.com. You have YNW Melly a Twitter account. You have YNW Melly an Instagram account. You have Melly.Montana, the Snapchat account, which the Snapchat is already in evidence, showing that one. You have Jamel.Demons, a Facebook account as well on that. In terms of the content of the messages themselves as well, show that this was Mr. Demons' phone and that he is sending out information and things personal to himself on this. So there are multiple different types of information to show you.
So just if we were to actually go through all of these, I've informed the court before, you're going to see messages from both of the deceased to their girlfriends to other people. There's no question that our client had used his phone, but so did all his friends. So this is a phone that they passed amongst each other. I don't think bringing up the Cellular or a couple of selfies proves that it was actually his phone. For that argument, there's pictures of Michael Jackson on there. So can I say that Michael Jackson is well owning his phone? Based on her argument, that's what she said.
Are you ready for this? Vegamore is a vegan hair wellness brand that focuses on helping women with hair loss without.
Cool, my nerves. Every time I walk away from the computer.
Just picturing what that is. I guess he shared the phone in the future also.
Anything else? State? No, anything else from the defense?
I would just point out that not only is that phone in Jaden King's name, so is the phone that she's trying to assign to Anthony Williams, is the victim's name.
Well, I don't, the counsel suggested and gave me four phone numbers. One, counsel indicated was Mr. Demon's phone. That's the 713-9807, 772 area code. Then she had, there's one that was listed as a Christopher Thomas phone, another one as a Mr. Withers phone, and another one as Francois, also known as Track's phone. I haven't seen one as being on Mr. Williams. Am I mistaken?
Yes, Your Honor, there was one on Mr. Williams that was on the initial report. That is the 954-248-9081.
954-248.
9081.
And that's Mr. Williams, one of the students, you said
Yes.
it's his phone?
Correct, that phone, and defense counsel is well aware of the fact that the phone that Mr. Williams had at the time of his death was recovered, and a full file system extraction was done from that phone that shows it was his phone on that, and as well as the fact that the Cellular extraction that we just went through also has Mr. Williams saved under the name of Twin in the phone of Mr. Demons, in which there's discussions back and forth that identify the 954-248-9081 phone number as that of Mr. Williams. And that there's discussions, for example, that they have gone on trips recently. They have gone to, I believe it was Detroit. And there's then again photos of Mr. Williams on the phone of Mr. Demons in Detroit that are sent back and forth on it.
Regarding this witness, is he going to testify regarding Mr. Williams' phone?
He's going to testify to the locations of that particular cell phone, yes.
And they're going to be identified by phone number?
At both.
Anything else?
No.
Anything else?
Just if you're going to let it in for demonstrative purposes, I would say at the very least that the names are stricken from the reports and referred or redacted, sorry. And we refer to only the phone numbers, not to the individuals.
Thank you. So we're going to bring the jury in now. As far as that demonstrative, I'm getting conflicting information. I don't want something going before the jury about this is Mr. Denman's phone or this one's phone. There's circumstantial evidence to that effect, but I'm not putting that in evidence that way. Just show the portion that shows the maps, and you can talk about the maps and the other things, but leave out the portion that has at the bottom, or I forget if it's the bottom or top, that identifies Janelle Denman's phone. Just use it by the phone.
Use it by the phone number. Okay, that's not a problem. So I think I would need just a couple of moments to adjust that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're in recess.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, child, this has been a rodeo, okay? A rodeo. I don't even know where to begin. Can our legal analyst for the Truth Team give us a summary of what we just heard? And I'll just tell y'all what I took from it. Now, a couple things, and again, I've read all the paperwork since the beginning, so it's definitely like hard to not remember some of the information. So let's get with the update first. So we got our analyst, legal analyst Prince, stating that the prosecutor showed her hand with this witness, okay? And if you can elaborate for us exactly what did she show? As y'all know, this witness was an FBI agent that was speaking on behalf of the cellular data or extraction from the phone. They did remove the jury and had some back and forth in regards to if that's going to stay on record or not. Let's see here. All right. So, yeah, Keaton, that was definitely crazy for his mama to be. Well, not really. So that kind of shows like, yeah, crazy lady. Lamar, what it do, Lamar? Lamar says the prosecutor is still fumbling on this case. Prince says prosecution is trying every hard to use FBI expert to validate the phone given to them by the manager is Melly's phone. Now, this is what I will say. Now, to me, everything I heard does not, without a reasonable doubt, put the phone in Melly's hand. However, it does kind of make you think a little bit harder, because what's the, just look at everything. All the pictures in there of him, yeah. All the numbers that's listed under different names, right? They then can match it to the deceased phone that has the number listed for Melly and his phone. So it's definitely a hard argument. Now, what they're stating that's going to go on now is the redaction of the names to the phone. So the judge just ruled they can say phone numbers, but not names. This is where my wheels get to turning, okay? Because in my mind, if this witness, right, from the FBI is going to testify the accuracy of the location of each phone number, right? To me, that means a witness needs to take the stand and verify the numbers that are listed, okay? One thing that popped in my head was, according to Detective Moretti, who is the detective that was on the case in the beginning, Detective Moretti in his deposition stated that Jamie King, aka YNW Melly's mom, told him directly that she spoke to Melly the morning of the shooting and provided his phone number, right? So she could be a potential person to call to the stand to verify that phone number, since she is listed as being the person to provide it at one time. Another thing, another person that can verify it most definitely could be either Trek, it could be Bortland, you know, the normal people that we already said possibly could be a witness. But what do y'all think? Does it have to now be someone to take the stand? And our analyst agrees, yes, someone needs or will have to, in my opinion, take the stand to verify this phone number. And that's going to really be a blow to the defense if this doesn't get shot down during this witness testimony. Now, what I will say is this. What's gonna be real catchy or real like a slippery slope at this point is if they don't get better grounds for their objections during this testimony and it leads, like at this point, they need to get the whole phone number thrown out. Because so far, biasly listening, the defense have not proven without a reasonable doubt that the prosecution evidence is not substantial in this regard. And I feel like right now, this is a win for the prosecution. The defense would definitely have to put on a good rebuttal with every question that's asked of this witness. Now, Prince states that they still have to show possession, right? But, right, even before we get to that part, because we definitely know a witness has to be coming, without taking or getting this thrown out, right? I don't see how. Now, mind you, what we know, and we're just going off of a trial, right? The original video from the studio showed Melly in the car, right? On the left passenger side. We then heard or saw the video where Melly is not in the vehicle once it arrived, right? Now they're about to get into the phone records where they're going to state what phone numbers is where on the map in relation to the alleged crime, right? Or alleged crime scene. So with that being said, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so if that phone was moving, I'm pretty sure they're going to put on record that, guess what? The co-defendant did not have a phone. So now they're going to be talking about these phones and where these numbers are at. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like that would definitely be an issue. Definitely be an issue. This is crazy. I really don't know. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Outside looking in, just listening to all the evidence now, if they don't call or put some reasonable doubt on getting that phone out of Melly's hand or getting Melly detached from that phone, I don't see how they're gonna come back up. I don't see how the defense is gonna overpower that. Because even in my mind, I'm gonna be like, ooh, if that phone is still in his hand, and I've been saying this since day one, if that's not spoken for, in my mind, I'm gonna be like, maybe he did go crazy, and maybe he did do it, right? That phone definitely has to be disregarded in some way, right? Because even if you get to thinking about Bortman, like something, like some type of like shade or some type of something has to come about. And that's just my opinion. What y'all thinking so far? Are y'all still thinking the defense is in the lead with wins so far? Are y'all thinking now the prosecution have took over the game and is in the lead? So Lamar said, I don't think they have no real witnesses besides the one they consider their expert. Prince says, weird, they have no DNA evidence from the phone itself to tie it to Melly. Jules says, so Bortley didn't have a phone. Correct. Then it says, dead skin cells, saliva, fingerprints, anything. Now, I will say this. I definitely feel like they have a witness. Too many names dropping to go on this for them not to have a witness. A lot of legal experts think that Bortland actually already took a deal and that he will be taking a stand. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I really, and hold on. Let me put my other phone up so I can see when it starts. I want to show y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all, and I showed y'all this already, but I already, in my mind, think who are the top witnesses in this case. And I feel like it's definitely going to be a witness that could have been charged in this case. At one point, I did think that the girlfriend was the ace in the hole, right? And I still feel like she possibly still is a witness. But then I have to think back to this one document. And in my hearts of hearts, based on my opinion, based on just how things are going, if Bortland is not the witness that's going to take the stand, right, I am going to say one of three people will be the one to take the stand. And let me see, is this it? In my opinion, if Bortland does not take the stand, right, I feel one of these three people is going to be the star witness. And that's just my opinion. Let me see what y'all saying. Lamar said, I doubt Track takes the stand. And then Prince said, there's a lot of definition of reasonable doubt. I give you mine. Okay. That's where I'm at. And that's because of this document. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they got investigations for something else. But we know, based off the documents, that Jamie King has immunity for sure. And they still have her phone. And they refuse to give her phone back. She even petitioned a court to get it back. They wouldn't give it back. For two, Adria Scott was just mentioned as providing a statement confirming Track's phone number being on her plan. I don't know if y'all caught that, but they just dropped her name and they said that her statement provided that information. And if you recall, in the Arthur hearing, her statement was also listed as part of the evidence that the judge looked over in order to grant a bond for Bortland. So Prince says the prosecutor needs to prove to the jury that with the evidence provided against the defendant that there is no other reasonable doubt explanation other than the defendant did the crime. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, now we have the witnesses that's not listed on this document, but is listed in discovery. Those witnesses are, of course, Mills, right? We have Travion Glass, Mariah Hamilton, right? Because Felicia Holmes already testified. So those people are still there. Cortland Henry, aka YNW Bortland, is on the witness list, but however, you know, he is on his case. But I can't help but think in the back of my mind why he hasn't had any movement on his case in regards to the comparison to Melly's case, right? And wouldn't that be even more reason to seal such deal in until the appropriate time? Because again, he's on the witness list already. He's already there, right? It's not going to be strange because he's on the case. But wouldn't it make sense, though, for him to testify? Let's see what Prince says. Prince says, so in the case as a jury, you can have in your mind that maybe Bortland did it. If you have that thought in your head, you cannot convict Melly. That's true. Then, let me see. If the evidence presented makes you think someone else did it, then you shouldn't convict. That's also true. So, I think right now, at this point, what's going to be a hard one is Bortland not having a phone. And they're saying a phone is still around even when Bortland pulls up to the hospital with the bodies. That's the part that's in my mind kind of giving me a little pause, right? As to how is that going to be put out there. My bad, I'm checking my phone. Y'all, this is something. This is definitely a doozy. Is this? Okay. This is definitely a nail biter today. We've been going at this thing for about 3 hours. I'm pretty sure in the next 30 minutes to an hour, court will be adjourned for today. But we're going to ride it out until it's done. Make sure y'all liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. I know most of y'all have already, but tell a friend to pull up. We are sitting in our seats, right? Waiting to hear the continuation of the YNW Melly trial live. Here we go.
Sure. Makes sense. Thank you.
Jury's coming in.
Jury entering.
Ms. Jones, thank you. Please be seated. Let the record once again reflect the presence of our jury, as well as the defendant, the defendants, his counsel, the assistant attorney, all which remains on the stand. Ms. Jones, I apologize, but I need to resolve certain issues before we go further. It's approaching 5 o'clock now, so my thought is, when we resolve it, we'll see you all back tomorrow morning. So remember the admonition: do not discuss the case. Don't form any opinion about the case. Don't allow anyone to discuss the case in your presence. Certainly no research about the case. All right? You hear that every time we break. I tell you that. It's very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. We'll see you back tomorrow at 9. Thank you. Thank you. Let the record reflect that you're stepped down. Anything further to discuss, counsel?
I don't believe so.
Sure, I will try to make the witness aware, especially Judge Collins, because you were on the stand in the middle of your testimony. I cannot have any communication with you outside the presence of defense counsel. If there's any emergencies or anything else, please contact my office so they can get a message to me so that Judge Collins can record that.
Understood.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, Danny. Danny.
All right. Court is coming to an end. Yo, let me tell y'all, it's been a lot. Okay. Shout out to Bo. I see you just pulled up in here. Yo, let's talk about this a little bit. Shoot. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start with this. A lot of times we gotta understand, and this goes out to like my big steppers of my of the cyber world, and my authors of the cyber world, when we look at certain things, right, on a trial, we can't look at it just from an everyday point of view, because that's not how the criminal system works. You have to look at it from what they're providing to you, right? So, of course, just looking at it, all right, boom, it's 4 people in the car, 2 are dead, 1 is driving, and 1 is missing. I'll bet you're going to say, well, whoever missing is the person that did it. But that's not how the criminal justice system works, because guess what? I can tell you an example of a case. And matter of fact, I said I was going to do that case, this older case, where, and I can tell you the synopsis of it, right? The older case was that a group of boys went to commit a murder. So people saw the group leave together. However, before they got to the location, one guy got out of the car, right? He got out of the car. The rest of the guys continue on, completed the murder. That guy who got out of the car, guess what? Is now sitting in prison for life. For life. Now, if we just look at what the witnesses saw, guess what? For sure, he's in the right spot. But if we look at the details of the case, he should not be in prison. Now, what happens with him is that, guess what? He chose not to tell. He chose the street code. And guess what? His homeboys who could have, showed that he wasn't there, chose not to say that he wasn't there. So he is now sitting in jail. But I am going to do that case real soon. Let me see what's being said in the chat. Big Step said, I stand on what I said, Mickey. I mean, it's cool. Thank God you ain't on the jury. I'll tell you that much, though, okay? Let me see. Bo said they would need GPS data, cell phone data is not consistent enough generally in a case like this. If it was a cell tower where he was, the only cell phone that connected, that would be different. Okay. So I see Bo and Gates been over there in law and crime chat. Yeah, I should stay out in them chats, okay? Prince said they're arguing the mapping data now. And then Bo says, exactly, that's what I was saying about Melly yesterday, because he could have told enough of the truth to help more than hurt, so he didn't look so complacent in what happened. That is true. And I will say now, y'all know I wasn't one of the ones who really went in detail about the previous video. I mean, because at that point, I mean, ain't like you ain't talked before. I mean, dang, was that shady? That probably was shady to say. But it is what it is, All I'm going to say is this. Right now, I wouldn't be ready to pass the judgment on guilty or not guilty if I was part of the jury. But what I will say is the defense definitely gonna have to do something about the phone stuff, even the telephone. Like they gonna have to put something. I don't know. I can't even tell you what they should be able to do or what they shouldn't do in regards to it. But let's see what they talking about on this real quick, and then we'll get back to the comments. And I'm actually gonna open the panel. So let's see what they're talking about. The experts on law and crime.
Get some trial intake and insight on her. A lot of people were talking about not her legal acumen, but all the wrong things. Do you think we're going to see her taking a forefront during the course of this trial? Or do you think she's going to be more of a background role? What do you think?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to her taking more of a forefront. She deserves that. It's a shame that when you Google her, these frivolous things come up about her body language or she's laughing too much with the defendant. She is a respectable lawyer. She's, as you mentioned, she's defended other celebrities as well, and she deserves to be known for her work. Not only that, the things that she is objecting to is very important. Now, we haven't seen any concrete evidence at this point that points beyond the reasonable doubt that Melly committed this murder. But according to the prosecution's opening remarks, there is an alleged text message
of some sort of admission of guilt on Melly's behalf. And obviously that text message would have been found on the phone. So it's very important that the defense tries to throw out whatever evidence is trying to be introduced in this case from that phone, because that literally could be the nail in the coffin if they can introduce certain things from the phone. So I'm very happy that it's her that is presenting the objection, and I am looking forward to seeing more from her.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't recall. Did they say they got a text message? A meet and guilt? I thought it was that video. I don't know. I had to listen back to it. I don't recall hearing about a text message. I do recall hearing about the video. Yeah, I don't know what she was talking about that one. But nevertheless, let's see here. Oh, breaking news, I will say. Tex Tone has been sentenced to 35 years for the role in the 2016 shooting involving Troy Ave. For those who followed that case, he has been sentenced to 35 years. All right, let me see. Bo says, you all got to remember in this trial, the prosecutors are often trying to sneak in more evidence through the witnesses, right? So I will say this, though. As far as the Melly case, the question is who are actually going to take the stand on the witness list, right? And who will stick to their story. Because we know, just based on if you follow the paperwork or not, that Felicia Holmes' original 2018 statement was dire and very important to getting that arrest warrant for not only Bortland, but YNW Melly also. So now in 2022, when she did her deposition, she changed her story. So it would be interesting to see who else on the category A list will stick to what they said. I was thinking no more. Let's see here. I'm trying to let me look at something real quick. Cause I've seen that video. But where did I see it at? Dang. Where did I see it at? I'm trying to see if I can find that video. I saw it. Where did I see it at? Like, it's in my mind. Like, I wonder if I just saw a still shot of it. Because I swear I remember seeing that video. Maybe I saw a still of it. Because I could have sworn I saw it, though. Or I done took something else and put it in my mind. All right, maybe I'm making up stuff in my head, but I thought I remember seeing that video. Let me check my live from February and make sure I didn't play it. Let me see. About, what they found. I don't know why I do that popping noise. Let me see. No, I ain't playing no video on this. So I was going to see. Now I will say this, yeah, that because the mom does have immunity. So that would be tough, man. Oh, so this is what shoot. I meant to do that. So if y'all see that Adrian Davis name is one of the other people in the car, right? And according to the document that I looked at in February, which is probably still there now, he gave a statement also, but of course you got to request it. I don't know what his statement says. All right. All right, let me see. Let's see. Right. Thank you, Prince. Full use immunity is what she has. And let me just... It was somewhere up in here. Yeah, I'm reading this. Hold on. About the who? Oh, okay. The submarine. Yeah, I was hearing about that on Clubhouse. I haven't followed it though. Okay, that was something else. Yeah, I haven't followed it. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to show y'all. All right. Does it go in detail about full use immunity though? Oh, and let me tell y'all this. So, according to my opinion, looking at all the documentation, I believe every witness that they may have in this case was granted full use, immunity. I'm not gonna say full use immunity, but immunity. Okay, just a little FYI. And the reason why I came to that is because, for one, Jamie King was provided and accepted full use immunity. Document motion for Frazier Givens, aka Fredo Bain. They offered him immunity, however, he declined it. So that's a history of, guess what, that being their gimmick, in my opinion. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm looking for something. The same thing I probably was looking for last night. I think it's possible, Bo. And the reason why I think it's possible is because why else would immunity be provided and accepted? That's my whole thing. Why would you need immunity in this case? And one thing for sure, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the state ain't giving out treat bags for nothing. Bo, you was around when I put that out there. I don't see it. I don't see what I'm looking for. So, hold up. Where do I start off on this case? Not that. See, that's how long that's been out, right? Let me see what I said back then. Oh, my bad. Y'all can't even see what I was doing. Individuals known to the state that are subject of potential, not active, but potential criminal investigation. Now, I'm going to start with. So, yeah. So, like, that's been out there. Let me see. Do I get into her paperwork? I'm trying to find which one it was. And look, this is what I do like about YouTube, because when you just go live, guess what? Everything is there. Like, you can see exactly what was on the docket or on the case at the time when I did. It looked like it was recent. Oh, show myself. Why I hear myself talking? Right. I really want to know, like, what did they provide? Because if he get on the stand and talk about that and don't have no doggone case, then you already know what that means. It definitely was a deal in place. I know I put it up the other day. All right. What is that one? Okay, we went over that one. I feel like I had did another live to this. I might be tripping. I feel like I did another live. I just can't think of which one, if I did. I don't know. Because I did go over the moms. Let me just find it. Yeah. Because boy, if they don't, I'm just assuming like that's not gonna be good, especially if it come out differently. I think it was in October. So that's that. So where is the hearing? Or maybe this is it. All right. So this, I think I showed it, but for those who probably wasn't on it, I'm gonna show it now. And then we're gonna get ready to get up off of here. Yeah, so October 12th, hold on. Is it something October 12th? And see, that's a scary thing. So listen, October 12th is not even nothing on file that says they had a meeting on October 12th, okay? Just saying. But it says a subpoena. So that means it's a recording made at. I want to request this. You know what? I'm going to request it because I want to hear what it says. It may take a minute, but I'm definitely going to request it. I hate that you got to pay. I wish you can just pay online and get it mailed out to you. But it is, so this statement was recorded, and it says right here that Jamie King, as stated on the recording made at the time of the interview, was granted full use immunity from prosecution regarding this investigation. And I wanted to point out, like I said before, this case number is in fact the case number that's on trial right now. And you know who all was there? Jamie King, her counsel, Michelle Botros of the DA's office, and Detective Mark Moretti, which is the original detective from the beginning of the case, and also the detective that could take the stand and speak on what Felicia Holmes, like Prince said in her original statement. Okay. And it says that Jamie King was fully cooperative and attempted to faithfully answer all questions presented. Now, y'all would have to let me know because I don't remember off the top of my head and I didn't write it down. If this was one of the phone numbers that they called out in court, because if you see, they have the phone number listed right here for the phone that they provided a subpoena for that they never gave back. To this date, they haven't gave it back either. So yeah, that's not oh shoot, I just caught this. So Jamie King is stating that Detective Moretti yanked the phone from her hand, bending her fingers back to the point of her sustaining injury for which she is still receiving therapy. That is crazy. I'm just reading this. I don't know. I wonder if this gonna come back to bite them in the butt. Well, there you have it, y'all. It's not really much more to talk about with that. At this point, we'll have to see how it plays out tomorrow in regards to if it's gonna really be anything more than what they're saying. Meaning, is it gonna be more to the defense? Is it gonna be more to the prosecution? We don't know yet. But nevertheless, we'll be here to watch it. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all want me to go live tomorrow, or we can just talk about it at the end tomorrow evening. Just let me know. Let me see. Y'all know I like to play music, a local artist at the end of my lives. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. You get what I'm saying? Oh, my bad, Loud Pat. I'm just running my mouth. Damn, Loud Pat pulled up and I ain't even see it. My bad. Y'all was taking so long. But again, congratulations to Loud Pat. Congratulations to Prince. Congratulations to any of my Truth Team members that have something going on that just didn't say it. Look, we support each other. What it do, Jamal? God dang, why I ain't see all these messages? My bad. I see some Jamal, haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll go live tomorrow, 9 a.m. And I hope to be on time because I was on time today. And I'm gonna tell y'all, the reason why I don't be on time is not because of me. It's because Sko taught me bad habits. And like, I'm gonna blame him. Sko taught me bad habits to just be late, okay? But I was on time this morning, and I plan on being on time tomorrow because I don't want to miss anything. And I think this was fun. But my bad, y'all. I did not see anybody waiting in the background. I'm looking for a song. Let me see. Who should I play today? Okay, I'm gonna play this one because I like the song. Shout out to Black Boy Spook from Columbia, South Carolina. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to his YouTube. My favorite artist here in Columbia. Definitely. Hopefully we do a new interview, an updated interview. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. Hold on, don't listen to who? Why, Jersey? Don't do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on, y'all. It's been fun. We've been at this thing for all together, about 4 to 5 hours total. But we will be back at it tomorrow, okay? And yes, I am on my way to Clubhouse. Y'all meet me there, okay? And until next time, y'all, holla.
With that on my head, I had to go get some cash. I had to go get it fed. Flipping gymnastics. Remember the times I ain't have it. Now I may feel like it's mad. Turn to a savage, your dirty bastard. Mama keep saying I'm just like my daddy. Feelings in life, but my heart is so heavy. When I needed help, and nobody come help me. Came up on my own. Now they treat me like I'm wrong. I had to go leave them alone, cause they throwing stones. Most of my niggas is gone, so I'ma smoke one to the dome. Was guy at the phone. Lord, the devil be wrong. Feel like the devil be on me. Please take the wheel so they won't do me wrong. I'm digging deep like the shovel is on me. I'm barely sleeping. I know these niggas are creeping. Send you on straight to the reaper. The street is so evil. Here to take you from your people. Make sure your kid never see you. No, one day I gotta go. I just pray I'm smiling though. On the day my cat to glow. Tell my son hit daddy low. Take a walk in my shoes. I had to make me some moves. All of these wink ain't were losing, but they never knew. All of these shit I've been through. Just for a nigga to prove. So much tears, can't cry no more. Pour my problems in my styrofoam. So much pain, I gotta smoke. I just pray my problems go. Take a walk in my shoes. I had to make me some moves. All of these wink ain't were losing, but they never knew. All of these shit I've been through. Just for a nigga to prove. So much tears, can't cry no more. Pour my problems in my styrofoam. So much pain, I gotta smoke. I just pray my problems go. Was that on my dick? I had to go eat it quick. I made them dollars for cents and started to finish. I asked the Lord to forgive me, cause he know a nigga be sinning. Turn to a menace, nothing like Dennis. Mama keep saying my pride is gonna kill me, but it ain't too much that nobody can tell me. When I needed help and nobody come help me. Came up over zone. I made them flips on my own, cause niggas ain't gonna put me on, but I kept it strong. Most of my niggas is gone, so I take a shot to the dome. Was guy at the phone? Lord, the devil be on me. Feel like the devil be on me. Whoever ain't real, I just ask you to show me. And niggas a kiss, so that metal be on me. I'm barely eating. I know these niggas are cheat. Depend on no nigga to feed you. The street is so evil. Here to take you from your people. Make sure you can never see it. No, one day I gotta go. I just pray I'm smiling though. On the day my cat to glow. Tell my son his daddy low. Take a walk in my shoes. I had to make me some moves. All of these wink ain't were losing, but they never knew. All of this shit I've been through. Just for a nigga to prove. So much tears, can't cry no more. Pour my problems in my styrofoam. So much pain, I gotta smoke. I just pray my problems go. Take a walk in my shoes. I had to make me some moves. All of these wink ain't were losing, but they never knew. All